Chapter 506. In Wei Shufeng's opinion, Lin Yan was bound to lose. She had agreed to eat the bell, so even if she lost, she deserved to eat the bell. However, if she ate the bell, even if she didn't die, she would at least lose a layer of skin. Even though he didn't have a good impression of Lin Yan had purposely imitated Yeva. Perhaps she had done it to attract his attention. After all, he had worked with Lin Yan for a long time. Hence, Wei Shufeng didn't want her to suffer the consequences of her actions. "Hey, little Fengzi, you're not a fake fan, are you?" Before Wei Shufeng could say anything else, Qi Xiaoyuan suddenly stepped forward. He walked over to Wei Shufeng and said coldly, "Someone provoked boss, yet you are still protecting her? How can you spoil her? Boss should teach her a lesson and make her pay for her arrogance and ignorance. In my opinion, eating the bell is a light punishment. She should eat it. Forget it. It's disgusting. I can't bring myself to say it." Wei Shufeng glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan curiously. Lin Yan had appeared at this event because Qi Xiaoyuan had invited her. Besides, Han Yishuan had chased Lin Yan away and Qi Xiaoyuan had fallen out with her just to stand up for her. However, judging from the current situation, Qi Xiaoyuan had turned hostile quickly. He had protected Lin Yan before, but now, he wanted her dead. What was going on in the head of such a person? The Qi Xiaoyuan that he knew wasn't a two-faced person. "Qi Xiaoyuan, didn't you support Lin Yan?" Wei Shufeng asked curiously. Qi Xiaoyuan shook his head furiously. "That was before, and this is now. Lin Yan didn't provoke boss. How could I forgive her now that she has done so? These are two different matters. You, on the other hand, are a fence-sitter. You're not loyal to boss at all. You even acknowledge boss. Forget it. Anyway, you're a fake fan." Wei Shufeng couldn't be bothered to argue with Qi Xiaoyuan. He turned to Lin Yan and said coldly, "Lin Yan, apologize to boss and everyone else now. Then, please leave. We can pretend that nothing happened today. We can forget about eating the bell. Don't say that I didn't give you a chance." "No, I don't agree. Whoever offends boss has to pay the price," Qi Xiaoyuan said anxiously. That's right. Young Master Qi's words make a lot of sense. If you make a mistake, you should bear the consequences yourself. It's not something that can be resolved with just an apology. She was the one who agreed to eat the clock if she lost. No one forced her. Doesn't she want to create hype? Let her. As long as she eats the clock if she loses, we can accept it. The female captain of K1's third team laughed coldly. "Lin Yan, aren't you going to apologize?" Wei Shufeng ignored them as he bellowed at Lin Yan. Could it be that this woman was willing to sacrifice her own life for the sake of hype? "Can we start now?" Lin Yan grinned. Wei Shufeng glared at Lin Yan. "You." Wei Shufeng gritted his teeth. If she wanted to court death, he couldn't stop her. She was pitiful, but she was detestable. "Madam Yeva, I'm very sorry. This is my sister. My sister has always misunderstood us. She knew that we invited you, so she deliberately provoked us. I'm really sorry. Madam Yeva, you don't have to pay any attention to her. I'll take responsibility for my sister's mistakes." Lin Shia looked at the girl aggrievedly. Chapter 507. Before the impostor could say anything, Andrea patted her shoulder gently and said, "Sister Shia, you don't have to blame yourself. We were there the whole time, so we know that this has nothing to do with you. As your older sister, how could you deliberately pick a fight with your younger sister? You're not fit to be called an older sister. Shia, you're too kind. I've already told you how evil Lin Yan is. Why are you still protecting her at a time like this?" Han Yishuan asked with a frown. Andrea nodded and replied, "Yes, Sister Shia. You don't have to bear the consequences for her mistakes. You're really kind, but I've seen such an evil sister before. Her personality is completely twisted. The kinder you are, the more unscrupulous she becomes. Today, she didn't just offend you. Boss Yeva also offended her. She has to pay the price. But Sister Shuya. That. Lin Shuya looked pained. Don't worry. She won't really eat the clock. However, she still has to eat it. You don't have to interfere in this matter, replied Andrea. Shuya, Madam Andrea is right. Lin Yen doesn't want to let you off because you're kind and soft-hearted. Listen to Madam Andrea and don't interfere. Han Yishuan shook his head at Lin Shuya. Although Lin Shuya appeared to be in agony, a cold smile surfaced in her eyes. Lin Shuya glanced at Lin Yen with a conflicted expression. Sister, I'm begging you. Please apologize to Madam Yeva and leave. Can you do that? If you can't, I will bear the responsibility. Lin Shuya chuckled to herself. She wanted to make things difficult for everyone. Since Lin Yen wanted to cause trouble, she shouldn't back down. She wanted to see how Lin Yen would eat the clock after losing the competition. To Lin Shuya's surprise, Lin Yen nodded in agreement after a moment of silence. All right, you eat the clock. I'll leave now. Lin Yen grinned at Lin Shuya. Lin Shuya was taken aback when she heard Lin Yen. Andrea suddenly stepped forward and glared at Lin Yen. I have never seen a sister as vicious as you. You don't deserve to be called a sister. You have to compete today. If you don't, you can eat your own clock. Sigh, Lin Yen sighed helplessly. My hair has turned white. Can I do it now? Qi Shaoyuan hurried to the impostor's side and looked at Andrea and the impostor. Boss, go and teach this evil woman a lesson. She was just a member of a small beginner team. She was just a bum in a small team, and she heard that it was her family's small team. If she wasn't from her family, she wouldn't even have the qualifications to be a member of a small team. Boss, you can easily win against such a person even with your eyes closed. Is that so? Finally, the impostor reacted. Yes, Miss Yeva. It's grandfather's team. However, they haven't had any good results. They might be disbanded soon, Lin Shuya replied softly. I got it. The impostor nodded and glanced at Lin Yen coldly. Initially, I could have treated you like air. But now, I'm curious. Can your stomach digest the clock? Chapter 508. Lin Yen grinned and glanced at the impostor. My stomach can't take it, but my teeth are fine. It won't be a problem. Let's go to the track, the impostor replied. At the impostor's command, everyone followed behind her and walked towards the arena. Wei Shufeng glared fiercely at Lin Yen. He couldn't understand what this woman was trying to do. Did she really want to eat the clock that he had given her? Lin Yen wasn't trying to make things difficult for anyone. She was trying to make things difficult for herself. However, Wei Shufeng wouldn't say anything now. No matter what, this woman would have to suffer the consequences of her own actions. God Zi walked over to Lin Yen. Miss Lin Yen, what are you doing? God Zi and Mumu couldn't understand Lin Yan's actions at the dinner. They had acknowledged Lin Yan's abilities. To them, she was considered an expert. However, she was the racetrack's grim reaper, Yeva. The only defeat she had suffered in her life had been at the pinnacle racetrack. What was Lin Yen thinking? How could she say that she would eat the clock if she lost? Lin Yen glanced at God Zi and grinned. Perhaps, I might be able to beat her. God Zi was speechless. Beat Yeva? Mumu looked surprised. Miss Lin Yen, let me tell you this. Unless this Yeva is a fake, you will never win. It's not that your racing skills aren't good. It's just that Yeva is too good. Lin Yen grinned. Who knows? She might be a fake. We have to hope for a miracle. I don't want to eat the clock. Soon, everyone arrived at the track. The cars that had been used for the competition were still there. The imposter entered the race and entered her exclusive silver racing car. Lin Yan stepped onto the track and picked a random car as the crowd watched on in disdain. Lin Shia's smile widened as she watched Lin Yan enter the car. This elder sister of hers was really stupid. She hadn't even had the chance to cause trouble for her, yet she had come knocking on her door. Was she trying to force her to her death? Shia, you don't have to care about her. Just let her fend for herself, Han Yishuan said. But she's still my sister. Lin Shia said softly. Seeing this, Han Yishuan sighed. You're just too kind. Before Han Yishuan could say anything else, a series of roars came from the track. I'm really curious what kind of expression that woman will have when she eats the clock. This kind of person deserves whatever he eats. Of all people to provoke, you chose to provoke Yeva. You have never died before. Pei Yutong looked conflicted. How should he salvage the situation after Lin Yan lost? Should I call Big Brother? No, if Big Brother knew that he was the one who brought sister-in-law here, his legs would be broken. But if he didn't tell Big Brother, what would happen if sister-in-law was forced to eat the clock? If he really ate it, it wouldn't be as simple as a broken leg, right? At the signal, the silver car and Lin Yan's red car dashed out of the starting point. As the match began, no one said a word. They were all focused on the match between the lion and the dog. The imposter's silver car was extremely fast, and it overtook Lin Yan's red car in no time. However, just as the silver car overtook the silver car, the red car swerved to the left and stopped right in front of the silver car. Update has ended. Begging for monthly votes and recommendation votes. Chapter 509. Lin Yan, who was seated in the red car, glanced at the rearview mirror from the corner of her eyes. The corners of her mouth curled into a faint smile. She had to admit that the imposter was indeed capable. She was almost as good as the ZH1 team. If she had been an ordinary racer, it would have been impossible for her to beat the imposter. It was no wonder that the imposter was so confident, especially after she had heard Lin Shia say that she was just a member of a small team. She had chosen to race with her without hesitation. Although Lin Yan was indeed a member of a small team, she was also the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Whoosh! The imposter's silver car tried to overtake Lin Yan, but she was blocked by Lin Yan. She didn't give the imposter any chance to overtake her. The spectators, who had been watching the show, had a different expression on their faces. If the imposter had been slower, it would have been understandable if Lin Yan's red car had overtaken her. However, Lin Yan's car was still blocking the imposter's path, and the gap between them was widening. In Lin Yan's opinion, this competition was a complete one-sided slaughter. The imposter was good, but that was only relative. In fact, she couldn't even be compared to K1, which was the best team in the country. She wouldn't stand a chance against the real Yeva. Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at Wei Shufeng and Andrea before he yelled, "What's going on? Boss's car is being overtaken by Lin Yan. How dare she block Boss's path? What right does she have?" Many people frowned when they heard Qi Xiaoyuan's words. What's going on? Andrea stared at the two cars that were getting further and further away from each other. The red car was driven by Lin Yan, while the silver car was driven by the imposter. Everyone had assumed that Yeva would win this race in a landslide. However, the situation on the track was far from what they had expected. The racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yeva, had not only failed to crush her opponent with ease, but she had also fallen into a disadvantageous position. How could this be? I can't believe that Lin Yan is so powerful. She's even stronger than Boss. Qi Xiaoyuan continued to shout when he saw no reaction from the crowd. Yeah. Suddenly, Pei Yutong strode over and glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan. Sister Yan is so powerful that even Yeva can't outrun her. The corners of Qi Xiaoyuan's mouth twitched. Pei Yutong didn't understand what he meant at all. How is this possible? Wei Shufeng's eyes widened in disbelief as he watched the red car race down the track. Even if Lin Yan was strong, she wouldn't be able to outrun his boss. They weren't on the same level. How could an ant defeat a tiger? Did Madame Yeva go easy on him? Lin Shia furrowed her brows. Although she didn't know much about racing, she had crammed a lot of knowledge about racing recently. Hence, she was able to understand what was going on. Chapter 5:10. Han Yishuan pondered for a moment before he replied, going easy on her? That seems possible. After all, given Madame Yeva's status, how could she compete with someone like Lin Yan? Yeah, boss must have gone easy on her. Boss wouldn't lose. Qi Xiaoyuan nodded and grinned. Boss is so noble. She didn't want to bully a nobody like Lin Yan. She might even lose the race and eat the clock. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed again. Qi Xiaoyuan's words were illogical. Yeva and Lin Yan weren't having a friendly competition. Lin Yan had provoked her first, and Yeva had wanted to teach her a lesson. How could this be considered going easy on her? Moreover, if they lost this match, they would have to eat the bell. Who would be so foolish as to purposely lose the match and eat the bell when they clearly had the strength to crush their opponent? Such a thing would never happen. Could it be because of boss's injury? Wei Shufeng asked uncertainly. Everyone knew the reason why Yeva had retired temporarily. It was because of her injuries. Besides, Lin Shia and Han Yishuan had said that Yeva had traveled thousands of miles to the country and that her injury had worsened. That was why she hadn't competed with K1 today. Given Lin Yan's team, even if boss's injury worsened, he would still be able to beat Lin Yan with his eyes closed. Don't they say that a skinny camel is still bigger than a horse? No, Lin Yan isn't even a horse. A skinny camel is still bigger than an ant. Qi Xiaoyuan quipped. Before anyone could say anything, Qi Xiaoyuan said again, no, no, no. I was wrong. If boss lost the competition, it must be because of a relapse of his injury or some other reason. If boss lost, it must be because of all sorts of unexpected circumstances. Pei Yutang glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan awkwardly. Brother. Are you a high-level hater? Huh? Qi Xiaoyuan turned around and glared at Pei Yutang. What are you talking about? Who's a high-level hater? I'm a true fan. A true fan. Pei Yutang replied thoughtfully, It's scary when a fan turns into a hater. Boss wouldn't lose to a small team even if he's injured. Finally, Andrea, who had been silent all this while, spoke with a frown. Godzi and Mumu glanced at each other. They knew Lin Yan's skills very well. Even if Lin Yan's skills were comparable to K1's team and were comparable to the old monsters in the country, she wouldn't be able to defeat Yeva, who was suffering from an old injury. Hence, both Mumu and Godzi were puzzled by the current situation on the track. They didn't know why. I don't care. There's no way boss will lose, unless that person isn't boss and is an imposter. Qi Xiaoyuan shouted. The situation on the track was getting clearer. Lin Yan's car had already reached the finish line. However, it didn't continue forward. Instead, it stopped at the finish line. Everyone watched as Lin Yan, who was dressed casually, opened the car door and walked around the finish line. She seemed to be inspecting the car. Everyone looked at Lin Yan strangely. Chapter 5:11. Lin Yan was blatantly humiliating Yeva. Instead of entering the finish line, she had gotten out of the car to check on her condition. At this point, what else was there to check? All she had to do was step on the accelerator and Lin Yan would enter the finish line. She would win the race. When the imposter's silver car caught up with her, Lin Yan slowly opened the door and got into the driver's seat. She stepped on the accelerator gently and crossed the finish line. The moment the red car crossed the finish line, there was no other sound apart from the roars of the two cars. Wei Shufeng stared at the two cars in a daze. His boss, the racetrack's Grim Reaper, had lost to Lin Yan. How could such a thing happen? However, seeing was believing. How could he explain what had happened on the track? Lin Yan glanced at the silver car before she got out of the car and returned to the race venue. Sister Yan. Wow. How did you do it? How did you beat the racetrack's Grim Reaper? Yeva. Am I dreaming? That's unbelievable. Pei Yutong's face lit up with excitement when he saw Lin Yan. Lin Yan grinned and replied, yeah, I was just racing casually. I didn't expect to beat the legendary racetrack's Grim Reaper. It seems like I'm a one-in-a-million genius racer. There's no way you can beat my boss unless the one below is fake. Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at Lin Yan suddenly. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up into a smile. Actually, it's simple. There are 2 reasons. What are they? Asked Pei Yutong. Firstly, I did beat the racetrack's Grim Reaper. I'm better than her and I'm a genius, replied Lin Yan. Secondly, asked Qi Xiaoyuan. Secondly? Lin Yan shrugged. The one below is fake. Either I'm better than Yeva or I beat the fake Yeva. Is there a third explanation? Fake? After a brief moment of astonishment, everyone seemed to agree with Lin Yan's second reason. It would be a joke to claim that this woman was better than the racetrack's Grim Reaper. However, Yeva had indeed lost the competition. This was an indisputable fact. In that case, she had to be an imposter. Lin Shuya, what happened? Suddenly, Wei Shufeng's eyes landed on Lin Shuya. No, it's not like that. She is indeed Madame Yeva. Please listen to me. Lin Shuya frowned. Lin Yan nodded and replied, don't worry. Please give her a chance to explain herself. Qi Xiaoyuan, Pei Yutong, a cold glint flashed across Lin Shuya's eyes. Could Yeva really be an imposter? Otherwise, how could he have lost to Lin Yan? However, she quickly regained her composure. Even if it was a fake, there was still a way to remedy it. As long as the imposter refused to admit it and said that it was because of a relapse of an old injury, Lin Yan turned to the silver car and shouted, Madam Yeva, we have already called the police. We suspect that you're not Yeva. Please explain yourself. The moment Lin Yan spoke, the silver car revved its engine and sped out of the venue in the blink of an eye. Chapter 5:12. Lin Shuya's face fell when she saw this. Lin Yan grinned from ear to ear. How could Lin Yan not know what was on Lin Shuya's mind? Even if she was a fake, as long as Lin Shuya sneaked up to the imposter and made her deny it, she would be able to get away with it. Hence, she decided to tell the police that she had called the police. Sure enough, when the imposter heard this, she drove away from the venue. Now that the imposter had escaped, the truth was revealed. If the real Yeva had lost the competition because of her old injury, how could she have escaped with the car? As the imposter drove the silver racing car away, the crowd fell silent once more. That can't be. Qi Xiaoyuan had a look of disbelief on his face as he said in shock, Boss actually drove the car and ran away. Could it be that she's really an imposter? If she didn't flee, she might have lost the race due to other reasons. For example, her old injury might have worsened and caused her to lose. However, since she ran away, she must be an imposter. Pei Yutong analyzed the situation. Yeah, I thought it was strange. Given the racetrack's Grim Reaper's skills, even if her old injury had worsened during the race, she wouldn't have lost to Miss Lin Yan. So she was an imposter, Mumu muttered softly. Mumu glanced at Lin Yan and smiled awkwardly. Miss Lin Yan. I hope you don't blame me for saying this. After all, if she was the real Yeva, Miss Lin Yan wouldn't have stood a chance. It's fine. Lin Yan grinned. Let's call the police first. We'll talk when we get back to the manor. Andrea glanced at Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan, who were standing beside him. It was late at night when they returned to the manor. The silver racing car had been found, but the imposter was nowhere to be found. No one knew where it had gone. Everyone was gathered in the hall. Wei Shufeng stared coldly at Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan. Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan had a certain status in the country. Hence, no one doubted that Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan had managed to invite the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Who would have thought that Yeva was an imposter? Since I'm willing to bet, I'm willing to lose. I'm sorry. Andrea's eyes trailed to Lin Yan. I said that if you win, I will eat the clock. After saying that, Andrea strode towards the clock without hesitation. Lin Yan tugged on Andrea's arm. Andrea glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. Miss Andrea, you might be mistaken. The premise of this bet is that the person is really Yeva. Unfortunately, she is an imposter. Hence, this bet is invalid. Lin Yan grinned. Andrea was startled for a moment before he understood what Lin Yan meant. Lin Yan was giving her a way out. Thank you, Andrea nodded gratefully at Lin Yan. I knew it. There's something wrong with Yeva. Otherwise, how could she have lost to such a person? The female captain of the K1 team exclaimed. Indeed. She can't even outrun a beginner. How could she be the real Yeva? Let's not talk about the top teams. Any rookie racer would be able to beat this woman easily, the female captain of the K1 team said with a smile. Lin Yan grinned at her. Why don't you give it a try? After all, no one has eaten the clock yet. End of update, Wax. Chapter 513. Compete with you? The female captain of the K1 team glanced at Lin Yan and sneered coldly. I don't think that's necessary. Are you afraid? Lin Yan grinned at her. It's fine if that's what you think. The female captain replied nonchalantly, not every Tom, Dick, or Harry can compete with me. If you aren't convinced, you can promote the He family team and let them compete with K1. However, I'm afraid you won't get the chance to do so in this lifetime. Lin Yan grinned. Isn't it just a matter of time before the He family team defeats K1? Everyone turned to look at Lin Yan with a strange expression on their faces. Was there something wrong with this woman's brain? What kind of team was the He family team? What kind of racing team was the K1 team? Was there anything that could be compared between the two? A beginner racing team didn't even have the right to compete with any of the K1 teams, let alone beat the K1 teams on the track. Even teams like ZH1 and WW, who were aware of Lin Yan's abilities, couldn't believe what she had just said. Andrea glanced at Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan and hissed coldly, the two of you better give everyone a reasonable explanation. Lin Shuya and Han Yishuan exchanged glances when they heard Andrea's words. Lin Shuya was cursing inwardly. That imposter had caused her so much trouble. If she had been stronger, she would have been able to deal with it. She would have been able to play the role of the racetrack's Grim Reaper in legend. It was a pity that she had escaped. However, Lin Shuya was at a disadvantage now. If news of this got out, it would be even more difficult for her to get the role. Andrea, whom she had tried to recruit, would definitely hate her now. Lin Shuya rolled her eyes as she tried to come up with a plan. No matter what, she couldn't be implicated in this matter. Lin Shuya, are you going to remain silent forever? I accepted your invitation and came all the way here just to see an imposter. Andrea's gaze grew sharper and sharper. In front of the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Andrea didn't put on any airs. She behaved like a little fangirl. However, when he found out that the woman was an imposter, Andrea's aura instantly exploded. Lin Shuya's gaze landed on Andrea. Just as she was about to say something, a security guard walked over and whispered something into her ear. Lin Shuya's expression changed when she heard this. Everyone, Sister Andrea, and Su Feng, I think everything that happened was just a misunderstanding, Lin Shuya said hurriedly. Misunderstanding? Everyone was stunned by Lin Shuya's words. That imposter first lost to an ordinary member of a beginner racing team, then drove away. How could there be a misunderstanding? Lin Shuya, you'd better explain yourself. What do you mean by a misunderstanding? Andrea glared at Lin Shia as she spoke. Chapter 5:14. Lin Shia nodded slightly and explained to Andrea, I don't know the truth. However, I can tell you that Madame Yeva has returned. Oh? Andrea was startled. She had returned? Hadn't she already escaped? Why would she return? Andrea wasn't the only one who was curious. Wei Shufeng and the other captains were puzzled as well. If she was really an imposter, she would have fled long ago. Why would she return? Wouldn't she be walking right into a trap? No swindler would be that stupid. However, just as Lin Shia had said, there was no point in relying on their wild guesses. The woman had returned just in time to confront her. They wanted to know what she was up to. Before Lin Shia could say anything, the girl in the silver uniform strode into the manor. She looked pale and weak. How dare you come back? Andrea's eyes gleamed coldly as she studied the girl. How dare this liar impersonate their boss? She must be tired of living and had a death wish. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to the girl as she sauntered over. The others weren't the only ones curious. Even Lin Yan was taken aback. How could this imposter be so confident? She had returned as though nothing had happened. Everyone, I'm sorry. Something happened, so I couldn't inform you in advance. The girl glanced at the crowd as she spoke. Imposter, what else do you have to explain? Andrea glared at the girl coldly. The girl was startled when she heard that. There was an inexplicable look in her eyes. Lin Yan couldn't help but applaud the girl. She had put on a good show. With such acting skills, why did she have to be a liar? She could even be an actress. Are you still trying to deny it? Andrea didn't seem to be convinced. Sister Andrea, don't be anxious. I think there might be a misunderstanding. Why don't you let her explain herself? If she can produce evidence to prove her identity, everything will be fine. If she can't, we will deal with it as we see fit, Lin Shia said softly as she looked at Andrea. All right, then we'll give her a chance to prove herself, Andrea said coldly. Then let her tell us what happened just now. Madame Yeva, I'm very sorry. Please explain to us what happened just now. Why did you lose to an amateur racer? Why did you drive away after hearing the police? Asked God Z. Hearing this, the girl's expression was extremely calm, and she calmly said, I don't think I need to explain such things to you at all. As soon as the imposter finished speaking, Andrea was about to get angry, but the imposter continued, forget it. Since you want to know, I can tell you. Speak. We are listening, Wei Shufeng said. On the track just now, my old injury acted up. Not only that, but the car was also in a semi-malfunctioning state. When I finally drove the car to the finish line, the brakes were completely out of order and I lost control of the direction. That's why the car sped off the track. After I regained control of the car, I couldn't bear the pain anymore, so I took a taxi to the nearby hospital, the imposter explained calmly as she glanced at the crowd. Chapter 5:15. Is my explanation clear enough? The imposter asked and everyone fell silent. Pei Yutong stared at the imposter in disbelief. Big sister, do you take us for fools? Even if you want to quibble, you should at least find a better excuse. Think about it carefully and organize your words. Be logical and logical. For the first time, Pei Yutong felt as though his intelligence had been insulted. That's it? Qi Xiaoyuan stared at the imposter in bewilderment. Who are you trying to fool? The car malfunctioned? Why didn't you die from a car accident? Why did you go to the hospital to check on your undeveloped brain? Lin Yan was speechless. She had to admit that Qi Xiaoyuan's sharp tongue had reached the pinnacle. Why? Do you find it hard to believe? That's why I said that I don't need to explain anything to you. The imposter glanced at everyone and spoke nonchalantly. Lin Yan stared at the imposter in confusion. This woman had imitated her tone and expression when she had been in the WZ team. She was really good at imitating her, if she was the one who was suspected of her true identity, her reaction would be the same as this woman's current state. She would have said that it had nothing to do with you whether I'm Yeva or not. Why should I explain myself to you? The imposter had finally managed to imitate the essence of her words. Oh, yeah. The imposter added, if you don't believe me, you can check the silver car that I was driving earlier. You can also go to the nearest hospital to check if I'm telling the truth. Okay. Andrea nodded. Since that's your request, we will fulfill it. I'll do it, Lin Xia replied hastily. There's no need. Andrea glanced at Lin Xia. Let's do this together. Lin Yan glanced at Andrea. This Hollywood actress was smart. Once she suspected something, she wouldn't be fooled so easily. Andrea knew that Lin Xia and Han Yishuan had invited this man over. How could they let the two of them handle such crucial evidence? Who knew if they were in cahoots with the imposter? Alright, you guys go ahead and investigate, but I'm going to rest. The imposter said, don't worry about me escaping. If things were really as you think, I wouldn't have come back. I will stay. Before the truth is revealed, I will be in charge of watching over Madame Yeva, said Mumu. Half an hour later, they called in the professionals for an inspection. However, the results of the examination were shocking. The car did have a huge hidden danger. The brake system was malfunctioning, the steering system was malfunctioning, and the tire pressure was too high. Could it really be a misunderstanding? If that woman is really Yeva, it's already a miracle that she managed to reach the finish line despite the malfunctioning brakes and steering system. How skilled must she be to achieve that? There's nothing to be said about losing to a junior racer, the female captain of the K1 team said. To the hospital. Andrea frowned. Soon, they arrived at the hospital that the imposter mentioned, found the doctor who was treating the imposter, and retrieved the surveillance footage. According to the time, the woman did not lie. She did come to the hospital as soon as possible. Chapter 5:16. According to the surveillance footage, the imposter had been in a weak state when she had entered the hospital. Her leg had been injured. Moreover, the doctor also told him the result of the diagnosis. It was indeed a relapse of the leg injury. How? How is that possible? Qi Xiaoyuan was dumbfounded, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. If Qi Xiaoyuan hadn't known that the real Yeva was Lin Yan, he would have thought that this was a misunderstanding. However, this shouldn't have happened. How could there be such a coincidence? The imposter had said that the brakes and steering had failed. They had checked the car carefully, and it had been as she had said. The imposter had said that her injury had relapsed and she had come to the hospital. The results were exactly as she had said. What was going on? Everyone glanced at each other in confusion. Could this really be a misunderstanding? Coincidentally, Yeva's injury had relapsed during the race with Lin Yan. The brakes and steering had failed, and the car had sped out of control. After the car had stabilized, Yeva hadn't returned to the villa because of the pain. Instead, she had gone to the hospital. Furthermore, she had said that she had rejected the K1 race because she was tired and her injury had relapsed. Everything made sense now. Could we have misunderstood Madame Yeva? One of the K1 captains asked, looking puzzled. Indeed. We have come to investigate, and everything is the same. This makes sense. If Yeva is the real Yeva, why would she come back? Wouldn't she be courting death? At this moment, even Andrea was a little shaken. Why are you wasting so much time? Isn't it easy to find out who she is? Qi Xiaoyuan blurted out suddenly. Everyone's eyes darted to Qi Xiaoyuan. Although we haven't seen Yeva in person, someone must have seen her. For example, the guru Lang Mang, the butcher guru, etc. Get her to call one of her disciples and video call them. Qi Xiaoyuan exclaimed excitedly. Yes, yes, yes. That's right. Pei Yutong nodded vigorously. He's right. If she is the real Yeva, it would be easy. A video call would be the most reliable method. Even if we haven't seen her, we should have seen Lang Mang and Butcher. Yes, this is indeed a good idea. Andrea nodded in agreement after thinking for a while. Lin Shia's heart sank. Who knew if that woman was the real Yeva or an imposter? If she was the real Yeva, it would be a happy ending. However, if she was a fake, she would be exposed in an instant. I think that this idea is feasible. Wei Shufeng nodded in agreement. After confirming the method of distinguishing the real from the fake, everyone returned to the manor. Boss, you don't object to this idea, do you? When no one was around, Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at Lin Yan. Whatever, replied Lin Yan nonchalantly. That imposter was not a simple person. If he didn't use this method, he would have to waste some time to expose her identity. Hee, I want to see how that imposter is going to pretend. Qi Xiaoyuan sneered. A moment later, the imposter was invited out of the hall. Have you investigated thoroughly? The imposter's expression did not change. Just like you said, there is no problem. However, we are still worried, so please video call one of your disciples, replied Wei Shufeng. Update is over. Sister Yan's disciple is about to appear and slap her in the face. Chapter 5:17. The imposter scanned the crowd before she replied coldly, I don't think there's a need for that. There's a need for that? Hearing this, Andrea said expressionlessly, this is the most direct way to prove your identity. If you think this will disturb the gods, you can also show me your racing license. I don't think there's a need for that, the girl replied softly. Do you think we are fools? Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at the imposter. You can't even video call one of your apprentices. You can't even show us your driving license. How are you going to prove your identity? Lin Shia frowned. If this was the case, the girl before her was most likely an imposter. She couldn't possibly be the real Yeva. The girl sat on the sofa. She didn't look like she was in any mood. In fact, there wasn't even the slightest fluctuation in her emotions. Before anyone could speak, the girl chuckled. Sun Shuaren, what do you think? Sun Shuaren? Wei Shufeng and Qi Xiaoyuan exchanged a glance. They knew who Sun Shuaren was. He was one of Yeva's apprentices and had been famous during the international competition. Of course, replied Andrea. The girl whipped out her phone as everyone watched. A moment later, a young man's face appeared in the girl's video call. Master, why are you looking for me so late at night? The man seemed to have just taken a shower, as he was draped in a towel. Shuaren, where are you? Asked the girl with a grin. I just got off the plane. I have some matters to attend to in China, explained the man. What a coincidence. You're in China too. Do you want to come over for a gathering? Quipped the imposter. The man was taken aback. Master, are you in China too? I'm currently in the capital city. What's your address? I'll send it to you. After saying that, the imposter hung up the phone. At that moment, everyone was dumbfounded as they looked at the video that was cut off. They recognized the man's face. He was one of Yeva's apprentices, Sun Shuaren. There was no mistaking him. Could it be a combination? Or was it photoshopped? I don't think it's real. Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at Lin Yan as he spoke. I knew you would say that. That's why I asked Sun Shuaren to come, the imposter said expressionlessly. This video isn't edited, one of the team captains explained. I've done some research in this area. If it's a composite, I'll definitely be able to tell that it's Sun Shuaren. There's nothing wrong with the video, is it really a misunderstanding? Andrea was surprised, and there was some uneasiness in her eyes. Hence, to put it bluntly, she was indeed Boss Yeva. What had happened on the track had been a coincidence. They had wrongly accused Boss and even treated her rudely. The video is indeed real. Wei Shufeng chimed in. If the video was edited, I would have been able to tell. I will take responsibility for what I said. At this moment, everyone present more or less felt a little guilty. They hadn't been friendly to Yeva just now. Then, can I prove my identity now? The imposter on the sofa asked. Boss. It was too much of a coincidence. Besides. Wei Shufeng frowned as he explained. Chapter 518. Hearing that, the imposter shook her head and said, I can understand. If I were you, I would also suspect that it was too much of a coincidence. But no matter how much of a coincidence it is, I am me. I can't become someone else. Boss. I'm so sorry. I offended you. Andrea glanced at Yeva uneasily. It's fine, the imposter said. What's going on? Qi Xiaoyuan's face was filled with confusion. With Wei Shufeng and the other team leaders' testimony, the video couldn't have been edited. However, if it was real, Sun Xuan, as Yeva's disciple, should have met his master before. How could he be mistaken? Sister-in-law, you're in big trouble. Let's get out of here. Pei Yutong pulled Lin Yan aside and spoke hastily. Lin Yan was the one who had instigated this. Now that the truth had been revealed, everything had been a misunderstanding. Everyone was going to settle the score with Lin Yan soon. There's no hurry. Lin Yan chuckled softly. Pei Yutong, Daddy, we're in such dire straits. Why aren't you anxious? Pei Yutong sighed heavily. He didn't know what else to say. Boss, how's your injury? Wei Shufeng glanced at the girl on the couch. It's fine, don't worry, the imposter said. Lin Xia and Han Yishuan could finally relax when they saw the situation. The video was enough to prove that the girl in front of him was indeed Yeva. There couldn't be any more unforeseen circumstances. Sister. I know that you hate me, but Madame Yeva is Yishuan's and my guest. How could you slander her? Sister, you wanted to race with Madame Yeva and she agreed. She even endured the pain. Lin Xia glanced at Lin Yan with an aggrieved expression. Everyone's eyes darted to Lin Yan at Lin Xia's words. That's right. Think about it carefully. It was indeed this woman who stirred things up first. What kind of intentions does she have? He's just a member of a junior team, an unknown actor, yet he dares to be so lawless? Had he wronged Madame Yeva? What an ingrate. How could Madame Yeva lower herself to race with her? The female captain of the K1 team sneered coldly. Frankly speaking, this has nothing to do with Miss Lin Yan. When Yeva lost to Miss Lin Yan, all of you started to suspect her identity. Isn't it too much to push the blame to her? Qi Xiaoyuan glanced at everyone. Indeed, this has nothing to do with Miss Lin, God Zi chimed in. No matter what, Lin Yan is my sister. Please don't blame her. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I apologize. Lin Xia bowed deeply to the crowd. Xia, this has nothing to do with you. You don't have to protect her. You mentioned this morning that Madame Yeva was injured, which was why she didn't compete with K1. Lin Yan was there too, so she knew about it. That's why she provoked Madame Yeva. She came here today to cause trouble. Han Yishuan glanced at Lin Xia. That's right, Miss Xia. Even if she's your sister, why should you bear the responsibility for her mistakes? Does she deserve to be your sister? The female captain of the K1 team said. Chapter 519. Lin Yan, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Wei Shufeng gazed at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with disappointment. Who invited this woman? I don't want to see such a person. Please get the staff to ask her to leave. The imposter's eyes were filled with disgust and disgust. Pei Yutong wanted to speak up for Lin Yan, but he didn't know what to say. Qi Xiaoyuan's face was filled with hatred as well. However, things had developed beyond their control. Are you guys done? Suddenly, the corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up into a smile as she spoke nonchalantly. Lin Yan, apologize to Boss Yeva. Wei Shufeng hissed coldly. I don't think it's appropriate to apologize to an imposter. Lin Yan grinned. What did you say? What's wrong with this woman's head? Why is she still claiming that Madame Yeva is an imposter? She is trying to scam us. Lin Yan, what evidence do you have to prove that Boss Yeva is an imposter? Wei Shufeng eyed Lin Yan coldly. Evidence? Lin Yan shook her head, unbothered by everyone's gazes. If I say that she is an imposter, then she is an imposter. My words are the evidence. Wow, I didn't expect to see such a shameless person. One of the K1 members clicked his tongue. Miss Lin Yan, given your status, you don't even have the right to speak to Madame Yeva. Not only did you get to meet her today, but you even raced with her. Not only are you not grateful, but you have also slandered her. I think that young Master Qi and God Z have made the wrong friends. The K1 captain glanced at God Z. God Z, how could you invite such a person to Madame Yeva's private dinner? If word gets out, ZH1's reputation will be tarnished. God Z and Mumu looked awkward, as they couldn't understand Lin Yan's actions. Pei Yutong wanted to say something, but Lin Xia received a notification from the security guards that a young man named Sun Xuan was visiting. Mr. Sun Xuan is here, Lin Xia announced. As they spoke, Sun Xuan strode into the manor. He was dressed in a suit with a leather collar. Shuo ran. The imposter stood up with a smile on her face. She ignored Lin Yan and strode out of the hall. Master, long time no see. Sun Xuan looked at the imposter and smiled. It's Sun Xuan. When Sun Xuan appeared, Wei Shufeng and the rest were certain that the girl was Yeva. Wei Shufeng eyed Lin Yan coldly before he trailed after her. Daddy, did you see that? Sun Xuan is really here. That woman isn't fake. Pei Yutong hurriedly told Lin Yan, let's leave now. Lin Yan glanced at the man. She recognized him. He was one of her disciples, Sun Xuan. It was a pity that Sun Xuan hadn't seen Lin Yan. Otherwise, the expression on his face would have been a sight to behold. Mr. Sun Xuan, may I ask if this is really Yeva? Qi Xiaoyuan stepped forward with a frown. Sun Xuan glanced at Qi Xiaoyuan and chuckled softly. What are you talking about? Is there another Yeva? Chapter 520. Mr. Sun Xuan, to be honest, a member of the team questioned Madame Yeva's identity. The female captain of the K1 team replied. Oh. Is that so? That's interesting. Sun Xuan was nonchalant. Where is Lin Yan? Ask her to come here. The female captain of the K1 team hissed coldly. Pei Yutong sighed heavily. He was doomed. He couldn't escape even if he wanted to. Daddy, what should we do now? Pei Yutong glanced at Lin Yan. Lin Yan, who was smiling faintly, didn't look the least bit flustered. What are you afraid of? Let's go and meet Sun Xuan, Lin Yan replied. Pei Yutong replied, Daddy, I feel that. I will die because of you tonight. Lin Yan strode forward, and Pei Yutong had no choice but to trail behind her. It was late at night, and the villa was dark. Sun Xuan saw a black figure approaching slowly, but he couldn't see her face clearly. Is she the one? Sun Xuan asked softly. Yes, Mr. Sun Xuan. This is the woman who has been causing trouble and provoking Madame Yeva. The female captain of the K1 team nodded. Mr. Sun Xuan, given your and Madame Yeva's status, there's no need for you to interact with such a small fry. You can ask the security guards to chase them away. I think that Miss Lin Yan must have some misunderstanding with Madame Yeva. There's no need to call the security guards, God Z replied with a frown. Mr. Sun Xuan, Madame Yeva, I'm really sorry. Please don't blame my sister. If you want to blame someone, just blame me. I will take full responsibility. Lin Xia stepped forward. Xia, this has nothing to do with you. Everyone saw your sincerity and your feelings for Lin Yan. However, Lin Yan has gone overboard. She should bear the consequences herself. Wei Shufeng glanced at Lin Shia as he spoke. Shia, I told you that Lin Yan is a vicious person with ulterior motives. You will be killed by her sooner or later. Han Yishuan pulled Lin Shia to his side. This was a good show. Soon, Lin Yan entered everyone's line of sight with a smile on her face. Mr. Sun Shuaren. What do you think? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled into a smile as she glanced at Sun Shuaren, who was rubbing his eyes. Where did this woman come from? Who is Mr. Sun Shuaren? First, she provoked Madame Yeva, and now, she's speaking to Mr. Sun Shuaren in such a manner? Lin Yan, you're digging your own grave. Wei Shufeng glared at Lin Yan, his eyes filled with disgust and disgust. Lin Yan ignored Wei Shufeng and the others. Her eyes were gleaming as she gazed at Sun Shuaren. At this moment, Sun Shuaren's face was filled with disbelief. How could he not recognize the woman in front of him? Sun Shuaren was so shocked that his body started to tremble. What are you waiting for, woman? Are you really going to let the security force you to leave? The female captain of K1 shouted coldly. Shut your filthy mouth. Sun Shuaren yelled at the female captain of the K1 team. Ah. The female captain of K1 looked puzzled. Was Sun Shuaren talking to her? Sun Shuaren, tell me. Is this girl your master, Yeva? Lin Yan grinned at Sun Shuaren. Chapter 521. Sun Shuaren stared at Lin Yan, who was smiling at him. Beads of perspiration formed on his forehead. He had never imagined that his master would appear at such a private event. At this moment, everyone looked at Sun Shuaren in confusion. They had no idea what was going on. Lin Yan, what are you? Wei Shufeng stared at Lin Yan intently. Before he could finish, Sun Shuaren shook his head. No. It's not. As soon as Sun Shuaren's voice fell, the entire place fell into a strange silence. It was so quiet that one could hear the heartbeats of the people around them. What did Sun Shuaren mean by that? Sun Shuaren? Seeing this, the impostor frowned deeply. She looked at Sun Shuaren as a look of surprise surfaced in her eyes. No one knew what was going on, but Qi Xiaoyuan knew exactly what was going on. Qi Xiaoyuan grinned at Sun Shuaren. Sun Shuaren probably hadn't expected to bump into Yeva here. Mr. Sun Shuaren, what do you mean? Andrea glanced at Sun Shuaren, looking perplexed. Sun Shuaren wasn't in the mood to care about them. His heart was pounding uneasily. Follow me. Lin Yan strode to the hall without turning back. To everyone's disbelief, Sun Shuaren followed Lin Yan to the hall. K1 and Andrea had wanted to follow them, but Qi Xiaoyuan had stopped them. Young Master Qi, what are you doing? One of the K1 captains asked. She has something to say. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you eavesdropping? Qi Xiaoyuan sneered coldly. One of the K1 captains felt awkward, but he didn't say anything. Captain, this is weird. Miss Lin Yan and Sun Shuaren know each other. Judging by his attitude, something doesn't seem right. Mumu whispered to God Zi. God Zi nodded in response. Mumu was right. He was curious about their relationship as well. Don't talk. Let's follow them secretly. God Zi instructed softly. Okay. Mumu nodded. Mumu and God Zi watched as Qi Xiaoyuan argued with everyone else. Then, they slipped into the darkness. Lin Yan sat on the couch in the living room as she studied Sun Shuaren with a faint smile on her face. Sun Shuaren, who was standing beside Lin Yan, had lowered his head like a child who had done something wrong and was waiting to be punished. Sun Shuaren, do you have anything to say? Lin Yan stared at Sun Shuaren for some time before she spoke. Hearing this, Sun Shuaren's body trembled slightly. His eyebrows were deeply knitted together. Master. Master. Lin Yan grinned. That girl should be your master, right? No. Master, I have my reasons. Master, please listen to my explanation. It's definitely not what you think, Sun Xuan said anxiously. All right, I'll listen to your excuses, replied Lin Yan. Master, I'm not quibbling. I'm trying to explain myself. I know that I'm in the wrong, but... Master, that girl has been impersonating you for months. I exposed her the first time. Sun Xuan sighed heavily as he tried to explain himself. However, at this moment, God Zi and Mumu, who were hiding outside the door, stood rooted to the ground. Their eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. Chapter 522. Lin Yan sat quietly on the couch in the living room as she listened to Sun Xuan's explanation. After some time, Lin Yan glanced at Sun Xuan. So what you're saying is that you were the one who exposed the girl when she pretended to be me. In the end, you fell in love with her? This was beyond Lin Yan's expectations. What kind of miracle was this? Master. Sigh. I really had no choice. Sun Xuan let out a sigh. I warned her not to continue her deceit, let alone impersonate her master. I didn't expect her to do such a thing again. She called me and told me that she had been exposed and that she was in danger. I didn't think it through and helped her cover up her lie out of selfishness. The silver car. Lin Yan gazed at Sun Xuan, deep in thought. It was me. After the incident, she drove away in her racing car and called me. I happened to be in China and I wasn't far from where she was, so I rushed over to help her think of a solution. I was also the one who tampered with the racing car, so the brakes and steering didn't work. As for the injury on her leg, it was already there, Sun Xuan explained. No wonder. Lin Yan nodded. If Sun Xuan had stepped forward to help, then everything could be explained. It was no wonder that the impostor dared to come back. She was relying on none other than Sun Xuan's trump card. Master, I'm begging you. Please forgive me this time. Sun Xuan looked anxious when Lin Yan remained silent. If this matter were to be spread out, how would he face his fellow disciples? If he helped a woman impersonate their master, he wouldn't be able to continue living in this world. Do you really like her? Lin Yan was curious. Don't you like aloof women? Sun Xuan was speechless. No. Actually, I like her. She doesn't know that I like her, so she thinks that I need money too. She even promised to give me half of the money. Master, you know that I don't need money. I just, sigh. Sun Xuan looked helpless. Lin Yan was completely speechless. Sun Xuan had already put it this way, so what else could she say? This is the only time. If I catch you again. Lin Yan eyed Sun Xuan intently. Master, don't worry. You won't find out. Sun Xuan vowed. What? Lin Yan's face hardened. No. Master, what I mean is that there won't be a next time, so you won't be able to find out, Sun Xuan said anxiously. That's more like it. Lin Yan nodded. Master, aren't you mad at me anymore? Sun Xuan asked boldly when he noticed that Lin Yan's expression had softened. On account of your filial piety, I will let it go this time. However, like I said, if I catch you again, I will make you suffer. Lin Yan grinned. Thank you, Master. Oh yeah. Master. That girl. Sun Xuan stared at Lin Yan intently. On your account, I won't pursue the matter this time. Go out and tell everyone who she really is. Then, take her away. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she spoke. Chapter 523. Sun Xuan heaved a sigh of relief when he heard Lin Yan. Outside the hall, God Zi and Mumu were dumbfounded. Mumu snapped back to his senses and stared at God Zi in disbelief. Captain, oh my God. Sun Xuan called Miss Lin Yan. master? He even said that the impostor was impersonating her. God Z, who was equally shocked, asked, "Did we hear wrongly?" Mumu shook his head frantically. "How is that possible?" "Captain, you heard wrongly." "How could you have heard everything wrongly?" "Besides, it's impossible for both of you to have heard everything wrongly." God Z inhaled deeply as he stared at Mumu in shock. In other words, Miss Lin Yen is the real racetrack's Grim Reaper. Yeva. Mumu broke out in a cold sweat. Are we dreaming? Captain, oh my God. This is unbelievable. The racetrack's Grim Reaper is Miss Lin Yen. She has a good relationship with us and even ate with us. She even helped us with the race. I'm going crazy. Mumu scratched his head. No wonder. No wonder. God Z seemed to have recalled something. Captain, what do you mean by no wonder? Asked Mumu. Think about it carefully. Miss Lin Yen, you're just a rookie racer. It doesn't make sense that you would be able to drive so well. Do you think it makes sense that you would be able to outperform everyone except Air Force? God Z frowned. No. That doesn't make sense. Mumu replied. I finally understand. No wonder Air Commander of Speed looked strange when he saw Miss Lin Yen and refused to race with her. It's possible that Air Commander had seen Yeva's face before. That's why he recognized Miss Lin Yen. God Z quipped. Realization dawned on Mumu. Yes. That's right. Now that Captain mentioned it, I remember. Also, Miss Lin Yen led her cousin to victory as a navigator. If it was Yeva, it would be easy. Yeva is a racer, so she should be a top navigator. God Z added. Oh my God. The He family is really stupid. How could they not know that Lin Yen is Yeva? Captain, why did Yeva hide her identity? I can understand why she returned to the country after retiring. After all, this is her home. Why did she become an actress? Mumu was puzzled. I don't know. God Z shook his head. Perhaps. Yeva likes to act. As for hiding her identity, she has always been like that. Doesn't she wear a helmet every time she appears? She doesn't accept interviews or appear in public. I'm not sure either. Captain, does this have anything to do with Yeva's retirement? Or is it not appropriate for Yeva to become an insignificant actress? Is that why she chose to hide her identity? Mumu pondered for a moment before asking. How would I know? God Z rolled his eyes at Mumu. I'm not Yeva. Who am I supposed to ask? Mumu was speechless. It's true, Captain. There are many strange things in this world. I can't believe that such a thing happened to us. Oh my God. We actually let Yeva fight on behalf of ZH1. We even fought with Yeva before. I'm a die-hard fan of hers. Mumu exclaimed excitedly. Chapter 524. God Z pondered for a moment before replying, Me too, no wonder young Master Chi acted so strangely today. Did he know that Miss Lin Yen is the racetrack's Grim Reaper? Mumu wondered aloud. However, before God Z could continue, a black shadow shrouded both of them. God Z raised his head, only to realize that Lin Yen had bent over and was scrutinizing them. Mumu was speechless. God Z was speechless. God Z, Mumu, why are you two squatting here? Lin Yen eyed them curiously. It was indeed puzzling for them to be sneaking around in the middle of the night. Miss Lin Yen. I really didn't expect that, you. God Z suddenly realized that something was amiss. If he said it out loud, wouldn't he be implying that Mumu and he were eavesdropping on them? Huh. Lin Yen frowned. Oh, I really didn't expect that Miss Lin Yen and Mr. Sun Xuan would know each other. God Z grinned sheepishly. Lin Yen nodded. Yeah, We've known each other for a long time, right? Sun Xuan? Sun Xuan replied hurriedly, yeah, Miss Lin Yan and I are good friends. Mumu and God Zi exchanged a look. He had to admit that the two of them were really good actors, especially Lin Yan. She was indeed an actress. She was so good at acting. She was Yeva, and Sun Xuan was her apprentice. How could they be friends? When did you guys arrive? Lin Yan glanced at God Zi. We just came to find out what was going on. We didn't even enter the door before you came out. God Zi pretended to be calm. In the past, it had been natural for him to talk to Lin Yan like they were friends. However, things were different now. They hadn't known that Lin Yan was the racetrack's Grim Reaper. Now, they felt pressured. Let's go. Sun Xuan will prove that the girl is an imposter, replied Lin Yan. Oh, it's really an imposter. Mumu looked shocked. Sun Xuan nodded. Yeah, it's an imposter. I couldn't recognize her at first. She looks alike and it's late. Mumu tried to hold in his laughter, but he didn't dare laugh. Who was he trying to fool? He clearly liked that swindler and was helping that swindler to cover up his lies. Who would have thought that his teacher would be right here, and he would be exposed on the spot, saying that he couldn't recognize him in the dark? It's understandable. It's normal for one's own master to not recognize him. Mumu didn't think too much about it. Sun Xuan's expression turned awkward when he heard Mumu's words. No, what I mean is, it's quite dark, so it's normal that I didn't recognize you. They look similar, even their voices are similar. Mumu laughed. Indeed, the woman's voice was very similar to Lin Yan's. However, no one had thought about it that way. Lin Yan and Sun Xuan returned to the manor. At this moment, everyone was still far away, and the opportunity hadn't moved at all. Mumu looked at the K1 team and sneered inwardly, especially at the female captain of the K1 team. If that woman knew that Lin Yan was Yeva, who knew how she would react? Lin Xia glanced at Lin Yan and Sun Xuan with a frown. Did Lin Yan know Sun Xuan? How was this possible? When Lin Yan had been overseas, she had merely been an insignificant racer. How could she know someone like Sun Xuan? Besides, hadn't Sun Xuan admitted that she was Yeva? What was going on? Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit IAI. Chapter 525. Xuan, what's wrong? The imposter glanced at Sun Xuan, who was standing next to Lin Yan. The arrogance on Sun Xuan's face had vanished completely. He looked like a tiny sapling that had been hit by a storm. His body was trembling and he looked terrified. He didn't even dare to glance at Lin Yan out of the corner of his eye. His master had been missing for a long time. Even his seniors hadn't been able to contact his master. Everyone had said that his master had left the industry and would never return. That was why he had taken the risk to help this woman. Never in his wildest dreams would he have imagined that he would bump into his master after pretending to be her. At this very moment, he simply wanted to die. His master didn't care about her reputation, but if his seniors were to find out about this, he would die a horrible death. He could only blame himself for being blinded by lust. Sun Xuan. The imposter looked even more displeased when Sun Xuan remained silent. Shut up. Sun Xuan bellowed at the thought of this. He glared at the imposter and yelled, "Where did you come from? How dare you impersonate my master? Do you have a death wish?" Everyone was dumbfounded when they heard Sun Xuan's bellow. The female captain of K1, who had been waiting to watch the drama unfold, froze in place. What? Had Sun Xuan just said that this Yeva was an imposter? Lin Xia was stunned as well. Then, her expression changed. Mr. Sun, are you sure you're not mistaken? During the video call, you were. Sun Xuan's face darkened when he realized that Lin Xia had touched his sore spot. He glanced at Lin Yan cautiously. Then, he swallowed his saliva and explained anxiously, I don't know where this imposter got my phone number. It was dark earlier, so I couldn't see clearly. If I hadn't come here personally, I would have been fooled by her. The woman, who hadn't expected Sun Xuan to betray her, looked flustered and flustered. Sun Xuan. Do you know what you're saying? Sun Xuan said coldly, What? Do you think I, the disciple, can't recognize the wrong master? Although Sun Xuan's achievements weren't impressive and he was considered the weakest among Yeva's disciples, he was considered a formidable figure in the eyes of the crowd. His words couldn't be false. Is this woman real or fake? One of the K1 captains murmured in disbelief. Sun Xuan said it's fake. How can it be real? It had to be fake. How can a disciple recognize the wrong master? Damn. Lin Yan was right. Everyone instinctively turned to look at Lin Yan, who looked nonchalant. How had Lin Yan found out about it? Why was she so sure that this woman was an imposter? After Sun Xuan had gone out with Lin Yan, he had suddenly changed his mind. The imposter had been caught off guard, and the strange gazes and whispers had engulfed her. It was as though acid had corroded her beautiful disguise and clothes. The praise and admiration she had built up because of Yeva's name crumbled like a wall, revealing her true self. The woman glanced at Sun Xuan again. Although she had no idea what Lin Yan had told Sun Xuan, she knew that there was nothing she could do to change the outcome. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 526. She clearly knew that no matter what the reason was, as long as Sun Xuan did not help her cover up this lie, she would be finished. She didn't dare drag Sun Xuan down with her, as that would only offend Sun Xuan. Hence, she could only take advantage of the chaos to escape. F***CK. Don't let that imposter escape, someone yelled. The crowd yelled for the security guards to chase after the imposter. Lin Xia and Han Yishuan apologized frantically, while Dian reprimanded them angrily. Lin Yan, who was bored out of her mind, watched the chaos unfold. She yawned and told Pei Yutong, who was still watching the commotion. Then, she turned around and left leisurely. Han Yishuan was in a terrible predicament. Mr. Sun, I'm really sorry. We really didn't know that the imposter was an imposter. We couldn't have been in cahoots with her. He had assumed that the imposter had called Sun Xuan, which meant that there would be no problem. Who would have thought that things would take a turn for the worse? Lin Xia, who had no time to think, could only swallow her anger and apologize. Mr. Sun, Miss Dian, and everyone else, we're really sorry. We didn't mean to be disrespectful to Madame Yeva. We were deceived as well. Don't worry, we will catch the imposter and give everyone an explanation. Get lost. Sun Xuan wasn't in the mood to listen to Lin Xia's righteous speech. The moment Lin Yan left, he shoved the crowd aside and chased after her frantically. There was no one at the entrance. Sun Xuan chased after her swiftly. Qi Xiaoyuan was excitedly teasing Lin Yan about how the imposter had been exposed. Ha ha ha. Boss, you have no idea how ugly the imposter's face was. Even if she racked her brains, she wouldn't be able to figure out why Sun Xuan would suddenly betray her. As Qi Xiaoyuan was speaking, he saw a black shadow quickly catch up to them and block their way. A second later, Sun Xuan fell to his knees and hugged her leg. Then, he began to wail. Master. Master, I've exposed that woman. I know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Please don't expel me. What if senior brother finds out? They will kill me, heir. The corners of Qi Xiaoyuan's mouth twitched as he watched the Almighty hugging Lin Yan's thigh and kneeling before her. Even though he knew that Lin Yan was Yeva, his expression was indescribable. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Get up. Sun Xuan cried even harder. No. If Master doesn't forgive me, I will kneel for the rest of my life. Even Lin Yan couldn't stand it anymore. You're a man. how can you kneel here? It's been so many years, but you haven't made any progress? Sun Xuan whimpered, what's wrong with that? I'm willing to kneel for a fairy like you for the rest of my life. I'm Master's man, and I'll be Master's ghost even if I die. Please don't chase me away. Lin Yan was speechless, sorry for the wait. I'm still writing. Everyone can sleep early and come back tomorrow morning. Chapter 527. Lin Yan stared at her little disciple, exasperated. Among all her disciples, Sun Xuan was the weakest and he had a bad habit. He was easily tricked by girls. She had already lost count of the number of times this brat had been cheated of money and sex by women, to the point where he had lost his entire family's fortune. This time, it was even better. She could even do something so lustful and stupid. However, this kid was really good at flattering others. He had a sweet tongue and was good at coaxing people. He was young and Lin Yan had no way of dealing with him. To be honest, Lin Yan had been biased when it came to this disciple of hers. Hence, the other disciples had a bad impression of Sun Xuan. Just as Sun Xuan had said, if the others knew what Sun Xuan had done, they would definitely beat him to death. Master. I know I was wrong this time. I swear. I will never trust a woman so easily in the future. No, I swear that I will never have a girlfriend again. I want to stay by your side forever. Lin Yan's face turned as black as the bottom of a pot. Forget it. Don't. Sun Xuan's face drained of color as though he had suffered a huge blow. Why? Master. You. Do you really not want me anymore? Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him and interrupted Sun Xuan, who was about to continue bawling. Your master's boyfriend will get jealous. Sun Xuan's eyes widened in shock. F***ck. Master, you have a boyfriend? Why? Is it so shocking that I have a boyfriend? Lin Yan was speechless. She had kept a low profile when she had dated Han Yishuan, so not many people had known about it. Besides, she had always been a workaholic, so dating didn't seem like something she should do. The media had even speculated that Yeva had dedicated her life to racing and would never fall in love or get married in this lifetime. Sun Xuan coughed softly and waved his hands frantically. No. I mean, I can't imagine what kind of man would be worthy of my fairy-like master. That's impossible. Boss. You have a boyfriend. Qi Xiaoyuan, who was a loyal fan of hers, felt as though he had been struck by lightning. His goddess had a boyfriend. He didn't believe it. However, he realized that he was the first fan to know Boss's secret. Wei Shufeng, on the other hand, didn't even know who Boss was. Somehow, he felt better. Qi Xiaoyuan echoed, that's right. I feel like no man is worthy of Boss. Lin Yan furrowed her brows and glanced at Sun Xuan. If you don't get up, you will be kicked out of the sect. Sun Xuan's eyes lit up when he heard this. He quickly got up and said, Master, you really won't chase me away. Qi Xiaoyuan guessed that the two of them must have something to talk about since they hadn't seen each other in a long time. Thus, he tactfully excused himself so that the two of them could be alone. Boss, you guys chat, I'll be leaving first. Okay, be careful on the road. Go back and rest early. After Qi Xiaoyuan left, Sun Xuan hugged Lin Yan excitedly. Master. Do you know how much they missed you after you left? I'll call them right now. They'll definitely rush over immediately. Chapter 528. Lin Yan's expression darkened. No. Don't tell anyone about me. Sun Xuan frowned and asked, why? Is it because you were banned from the competition? Who doesn't know that it was because someone framed you? You've never lost a competition, so why would you need to take that drug? Those idiots knew that no one would believe them, so they didn't dare announce it. They just wanted to make use of this incident to force you out of the competition. Lin Yan was naturally aware of the severity of the situation. She had dominated the competition for a long time and was a thorn in many people's sides. How could they let this opportunity slip by? Master, as long as you explain yourself, everyone will believe you. Sun Xuan said anxiously. Lin Yan sighed softly. Xuan, you're oversimplifying things. No matter what, they can just say that I followed the rules and regulations and stop all doubts. Sun Xuan clenched his fists tightly. Even if that's the case. Master, can you bear to leave us behind? Everyone misses you. They want you to come back, Lin Yan grinned at her. Xuan, I've taught you everything I can. All of you are capable of taking charge. This is my own battle, so I have to walk it alone. Sun Xuan glanced at Lin Yan in confusion. Master, you mean? Lin Yan raised her head and gazed at the starry sky. Many things happened in the past. At the time, I was disheartened and wanted to quit the industry, but now, I've changed my mind. Lin Yan glanced at her disciple and grinned. Don't worry. One day, I will return to the competition and reunite with all of you. In Yeva's dictionary, there was no such thing as failure. Sun Xuan's eyes lit up when he heard her. Really? That's great. I will work hard and stop fooling around. I will wait for you at the competition. Lin Yan glanced at her disciple and sighed. I'll thank the heavens if you don't get cheated again. Tears welled up in Sun Xuan's eyes again. Master, I swear that I will stay away from women from now on. I will remain chaste for you. Lin Yan was speechless. Please, pay attention to your wording. What do you mean by preserving your virginity for me? Your master still wants to live for a few more years. Lin Yan was about to reply when her phone rang. She had received a new message. It was from Pei Yucheng, who rarely contacted her. I left a document in the second drawer of the study. Can you send it to the company? At the same time, in the manor. The guests had all left, and Han Yishuan was busy arranging for his men to catch the impostor. Meanwhile, Lin Xia was busy apologizing to everyone. The people who came today were all famous people in the circle. Because of that impostor, she had lost all her face. Initially, Lin Xia had wanted to network and get the role of Yeva through this incident. But now, he had offended all the big shots in the racing circle. He had even offended Andrea. Although Wei Shufeng didn't say anything, his expression was ugly as he left. Now that she had calmed down, the more she thought about it, the more suspicious she felt. Sun Xuan's attitude was very strange. That woman knew that she was an impostor, so how could she have dared to invite Sun Xuan? Wasn't she courting death? What was even stranger was Lin Yan. How could she be so sure that the woman was an impostor? She had even dared to say that she wasn't an impostor because she didn't want to. There was no failure. There was only death. The Old Man and the Sea. Chapter 529. Late at night, in the bar, Qi Xiaoyuan had just left when he received a call from Wei Shufeng. Wei Shufeng had invited him to a bar for a drink. Tonight's incident must have been a huge blow to him. Wei Shufeng downed glass after glass of wine, looking crestfallen. I really thought that I would be able to meet boss this time. I even spent a few days preparing a gift. Qi Xiaoyuan patted Wei Shufeng's shoulder. My condolences. Wei Shufeng rolled his eyes at him. Aren't you disappointed at all? Aren't you sad at all? You're a fake fan. You don't deserve to like boss. Qi Xiaoyuan's eyes widened in confusion. What? I'm a fake fan? How could a thief claim to be a thief? If you're not a fake fan, then what are you? What gift did you prepare for boss? It's an imitation bag. Wei Shufeng complained. Qi Xiaoyuan was speechless. What was wrong with giving an imitation bag? It was a pity that Wei Shufeng didn't know that he had known from the start that it was an imitation bag. Qi Xiaoyuan didn't explain. He merely glanced at the drunk Wei Shufeng sympathetically. Actually, you didn't lose out at all. You saw everything that you wanted to see. All the VIPs had actually seen Yeva in real life at the invitation. There was nothing wrong with that. Lin Yan spent a long time trying to get rid of the clingy Sun Xuan. Then, she rushed back to Cloud Manor. She found the document in the drawer and rushed to JM Corporation. There was no one in the building that night. Cheng Imo, who had been waiting downstairs, led Lin Yan to the top floor. Mr. Pei, why are you working so late? Asked Lin Yan. Cheng Imo nodded. Yeah, the company has been busy lately. This way, Miss Lin. The two of them walked out of the elevator and headed to the office at the end of the corridor. Knock, knock, knock. Cheng Imo knocked on the door. President Pei, Miss Lin is here. Come in. The man's husky voice was heard. Lin Yan followed Cheng Imo. The moment he pushed open the door, he saw a huge floor-to-ceiling window. Outside the window, there were thousands of lights and flashing neon lights. Inside the window, in front of a dim light, the man casually and lazily sat in front of the desk. Behind him hung a suit jacket, his sleeves casually rolled up, and on the desk, there were all kinds of documents. This was Lin Yan's first time in his office. It was also the first time she had seen him at work. No wonder people say that men at work are the sexiest. Lin Yan was really worried about her future. Pei Yuqing had raised the standard of being a boyfriend. How was she going to continue dating after they broke up? Seeing the girl coming over, the man looked up from the pile of documents, put down the pen in his hand with his slender fingers, took off the gold-rimmed glasses on his face, and pinched the space between his eyebrows. Sorry for disturbing you so late at night, Miss Lin. Because it's very, very important, I can only give it to you. Lin Yan snapped back to her senses and hurriedly waved her hands. It's okay, it's okay. It's just a gift. Lin Yan hurriedly walked over with the document. Mr. Pei, take a look. Is this the right document? Pei Yuqing glanced at it casually before putting it aside. Lin Yan, who was a little worried, said, This is such an important document. Mr. Pei, you should check it first. What if I took the wrong document? Chapter 530. Pei Yuqing replied, I'm sure. Lin Yan was certain that Pei Yuqing hadn't even glanced at the document earlier. Just as Pei Qian was about to continue speaking, Cheng Imo glanced at the document and subconsciously said, Isn't this the invalid document? Boss Pei, why do you want this document? Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Huh? Invalid? Even Cheng Imo was confused. However, he realized that he had said too much. How could the boss not know this? Since he did this, there must be a deeper meaning behind it. Thus, he hurriedly lowered his head and remained silent. But Mr. Pei said that it's very important. Lin Yan was puzzled. Pei Yuqing raised his head and glanced at the girl. Miss Lin, you've misunderstood. I'm referring to the person who delivered the document. Lin Yan blinked in confusion. Huh? I just want to see you, Miss Lin. No matter what you bring, it's the same. Pei Yuqing's eyes behind the glasses were as mesmerizing as the night sky behind the floor-to-ceiling windows. He knew that he couldn't beat around the bush with Lin Yan, so he didn't hide his intentions. Indeed, Lin Yan finally understood. She coughed violently and coughed violently. F***ck. Wasn't Pei Yuqing being too straightforward? Even though she was used to it, she still couldn't take it, couldn't he, be more roundabout? Alright, if he was too roundabout, she wouldn't be able to understand. Cheng Imo, who had been trying to figure out his boss's intentions, lowered his head and swallowed his saliva silently. He had racked his brains for so long, but he hadn't expected that his boss would really have such a deep meaning. Instinctively, Lin Yan touched her burning cheeks. She felt that she had been too useless. They had been dating for so long. Why should she be afraid? She had just come to the company to visit him. Wasn't this a normal behavior in a relationship? Besides, she had Xing Chen's request, so she had to make a good impression on him. Hence, Lin Yan inhaled deeply to calm herself down. Then, she smiled and said, "Ahem. Mr. Pei, if you wanted to see me, you could have just told me. Actually, I miss you. I was just afraid that it would be inconvenient for me to come to your company." Pei Yuqing glanced at the girl with a faint smile. "I won't. You're welcome anytime." Cheng Imo touched his nose and thought to himself, of course not. Even if it was inconvenient, he completely believed that boss would make things more convenient for JM Corporation. "Oh yes, Mr. Pei. When will you be done? Why don't I wait for you? We can go home together later." Pei Yuqing was startled when he heard the words "let's go home together." He hadn't expected that Lin Yan would take the initiative today. His eyes were burning as he gazed at the girl. After some time, he replied in a low, hoarse voice, "Okay." Cheng Imo was surprised to hear that Pei Yuqing had agreed. They had to rush to the airport later, however, before Cheng Imo could remind him, Pei Yuqing glared at him and made him swallow his words. He didn't dare say another word. The reason why he could stay by his boss's side was because he didn't talk much, hence, he had to work hard to maintain his advantage. He could see through it, but he wouldn't say anything. "I wonder if anyone noticed the little Easter egg that I buried?" The abbreviation of JM Group, JM, is actually the abbreviation of cute. Hee hee. Chapter 531. Lin Yan didn't have to wait long before Pei Yuqing finished his work. He picked up his jacket and left the office with her. They sat side by side in the back seat of the black car and chatted casually. "Has everything been going well?" "It's going pretty well. After Meeting One's match was released, my reputation improved a little, and I received more job offers. After all, I'm now an artist of Summit Entertainment. With Mr. Pei's JM Corporation backing me up, even Triumph Entertainment can't blacklist me. However, I've been on the hot search list recently. Sister Ling said that I would arouse the ire of passers-by if this went on. That's why she didn't allow me to take on any jobs. In a few days, I'll start working." Pei Yuqing propped his hand on his forehead as he listened quietly. From time to time, he chimed in, as though Lin Yan wasn't talking about something unimportant. Instead, he was talking about something so important that he couldn't miss a single word. "You seem to be very busy these few days," Pei Yuqing said. Lin Yan's heart tightened as she replied cautiously, "Ahem. I've been helping out with my grandfather's team, so. I've been a little busy. Do you need any help?" asked Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan blinked in confusion. "Ahem. Mr. Pei, don't you hate racing?" Although Pei Yuqing had watched her race personally, she knew very well how much he hated racing. Thus, she couldn't help but feel worried. Pei Yuqing didn't deny it. "I don't like racing." Indeed, Lin Yan swallowed her saliva nervously. Pei Yuqing added, "But you can love me, love my dog." Lin Yan was speechless. Cheng Imo, who was driving, was speechless. When the car was about to reach the villa, Pei Yuqing suddenly asked, "Do you want to come out for a walk?" Lin Yan was startled at first before she nodded. "Sure." Cheng Imo parked the car by the road and got out. The two of them got out of the car. The night was quiet, and Lin Yan and Pei Yuqing strolled along the tree-lined path under the moonlight. Lin Yan inhaled a deep breath of fresh air and raised her head to look at the starry sky. "Wow, it feels good to take a walk at night." "Yeah." Pei Yuqing paced slowly as he reached out to hold the girl's cold hand. Lin Yan was startled as she lowered her head to glance at her hand. Her cheeks flushed slightly. The night was chilly, and Lin Yan shuddered involuntarily when a gust of cold wind blew. Pei Yuqing glanced at the girl before he held her hand and placed it in his pocket. Lin Yan felt her cold hands being enveloped by his warmth. That warm feeling spread from his palm to his heart, and then turned into a violent heartbeat. Lin Yan couldn't help but recall the 100 things you should do with your boyfriend that she had read online. She remembered that one of the rules was, put your pocket in your boyfriend's pocket in winter. At that time, she thought it was stupid. Why would she put it in someone else's pocket? Didn't she have her own pocket? But now, he suddenly had a feeling of enlightenment, a feeling of sudden realization. Pei Yuqing studied the expression on the girl's face and a smile appeared in his eyes. However, that smile soon faded a little. It wasn't a long walk, so the two of them reached the villa in no time. Lin Yan was about to enter the house when Pei Yuqing suddenly stopped in his tracks. Chapter 532. What's wrong? Lin Yan instinctively turned around. I'm on a business trip. I need to catch a plane to Country M now, replied Pei Yuqing. Lin Yan was startled. Huh? You're in a rush to go abroad? If I had known, would have come back alone. That way, you could have rushed to the airport. What time is the flight? Is it too late? Why didn't you say so earlier? No wonder she saw that Cheng Imo seemed to be a little anxious when she saw him hesitating to speak. Pei Yuqing stroked the girl's soft fingers and sighed. Miss Lin's suggestion is irresistible. Lin Yan was speechless. Huh? Her suggestion? What had she suggested? Hadn't she just said that they would go home together after he was done with his work? So, he didn't hesitate to take a detour to the airport just to come back with her? Lin Yan's cheeks burned hotter at the thought of this. Sorry, tomorrow is the weekend, but I'm afraid I have to miss the appointment, said Pei Yuqing. It was only then that Lin Yan recalled that her other consciousness had taken the liberty to ask Pei Yuqing out on a date this weekend. It's all right. Anyway, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future. We can go anytime, replied Lin Yan. The aloofness in Pei Yuqing's eyes dissipated when he heard Lin Yan. Okay. Hurry up and catch the plane then. Don't waste any more time. Lin Yan urged him hurriedly, afraid that she would delay his trip. Okay, go in and rest early. Okay. Lin Yan stood at the door and watched Pei Yuqing leave. In the night, the man's lonesome figure gradually merged with the darkness. Lin Yan stared at Pei Yuqing's back and hesitated. She had never felt this way before. She felt that she should do something. When the man walked to the car and opened the door, Lin Yan couldn't help but say, "Hold on." Then, he jogged all the way to catch up. Pei Yuqing halted when the girl caught up with him. What's wrong? Lin Yan scratched her head and hesitated for some time. Suddenly, she tiptoed and kissed the corner of Pei Yuqing's lips. No. Nothing. Be careful. After the girl finished speaking, she quickly slipped away. Pei Yuqing, on the other hand, stood rooted to the ground in shock. The warm touch at the edge of his lips felt like an illusion, but it was very real. The man watched as the girl fled into the house, and the shock in his eyes turned into an overwhelming darkness. A moment later, he sighed helplessly. He had always been calm and composed. Nothing could affect his decisions and pace. However, for the first time in his life, he understood why there were so many incapable rulers in history. On the way to the airport, Pei Yuqing was speechless along the way. When he passed by a huge LED screen in a shopping mall, he accidentally caught sight of an advertisement. This Valentine's Day, spend it romantically with your partner. Valentine's Day, Pei Yuqing muttered, is tomorrow Valentine's Day? Cheng Imo, who was driving, nodded. I think so. Pei Yuqing's eyes narrowed, and the atmosphere around him turned cold. Cheng Imo immediately knew that he had failed in his duties. He hurriedly said, I'm sorry, Boss Pei. I should have reminded you in advance. The main reason was that he hadn't realized that his boss was in a relationship, so he had forgotten to remind him of this important day. He was doomed. Was boss really going to be an incapable ruler and cancel such an important trip? Update has ended. I'm begging for monthly votes and recommendation votes. There have been many things to do these 2 days, so the update might not be stable. As long as I'm free, I will make up for it immediately. Chapter 533. In the bedroom, Lin Yan scratched her head as she paced back and forth in the room. Had she been possessed just now? She had just been acting. Why had she fallen for it? No. No. This had nothing to do with her. She must have been possessed by that pervert again. That was why she had done such a thing. That had to be it. Lin Yan hurried online to play a few games to calm herself down. Wang Jingyang was online as well. He had invited her to join his team. Lin Yan accepted his invitation and the two of them started chatting. Wang Jingyang typed, "I haven't seen you online in a long time. What have you been up to?" Lin Yan typed, "It's all about my grandfather's team. Cut the crap and start a game. Which position do you want to play?" Wang Jingyang typed, "I'll support you. I've been wanting to increase my score lately." Lin Yan replied, "Sure, start." Wang Jingyang was surprised that Lin Yan had agreed so readily. "Why did you agree so easily? The last time I asked you to carry me, didn't you say that one round was very expensive and that you had to pay to play with me?" Lin Yan typed, "Oh, thank you for reminding me. Remember to send me money later." Wang Jingyang was speechless, hence, Lin Yan chose the archer while Wang Jingyang supported her. The two of them started to kill each other in the game. Wang Jingyang's score started to increase rapidly. In one game, Lin Yan targeted the archer and killed him. At first, the archer was cursing and swearing in the fountain. In the end, he lost all his temper. F***CK. Who the hell is the enemy's ADC? He's too awesome. Boss, are you carrying a girl? Boss. Why aren't you talking to me? Huh. That's weird. Boss, why aren't you killing me? The archer glanced curiously at Lin Yan, who had walked past him without killing him. The archer kept nagging, but Lin Yan ignored him. She typed impatiently, "You're too cheap." The archer was speechless. After a character was killed too many times, the monetary reward would decrease. After being killed so many times, the character would become worthless. This was blatant mockery. Wang Jingyang typed, "Lin Yan, what's wrong with you? Why are you so angry today? Why is he so violent?" Lin Yan replied, "When have I ever stopped being violent?" Wang Jingyang, okay, however, he still felt that she was acting weird today. After the last match, Wang Jingyang sent a message. Wang Jingyang replied, "Ahem. Lin Yan, are you free tomorrow night?" Lin Yan typed, "What?" Wang Jingyang, "If you don't have anything else to do, then accompany me to score." Lin Yan replied, "I'm busy." Wang Jingyang, "Not free? It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. You're single. How can you be busy?" Lin Yan was startled. "Tomorrow is Valentine's Day?" Wang Jingyang, "Yeah, are you coming?" Lin Yan replied, "No. I'm busy." Wang Jingyang, 50 yuan per round. Lin Yan replied, "No, Wang Jingyang, no way. Not even paying?" Lin Yan typed, "It's Valentine's Day tomorrow. I have to pay extra." Wang Jingyang, after playing games for half the night and accepting Wang Jingyang's deal, Lin Yan felt much better. She could finally lie down and sleep peacefully. In the middle of the night, Lin Yan was woken up by a throbbing pain in her left leg. Oh no, she had been playing around too much and had raced too many times. She was afraid that her old injury had relapsed. There was no good way to treat this kind of injury. The only thing she could do was to get an anti-inflammatory injection. However, Lin Yan had never gotten an injection before. She had forced herself to endure it. She was most afraid of injections. Every time she saw a needle, she would be terrified. She would rather die from the pain than get an injection. Chapter 534. Lin Yan forced herself to endure until dawn. She had thought that the pain would subside, but it was getting worse. Perhaps because she had been driving too much recently, the pain didn't subside at all. Instead, it intensified. Lin Yan broke out in a cold sweat as the pain in her left leg pierced her heart. However, she decided to let it be. It would be better than getting an injection. Her body had always recovered quickly. At most, she would have to endure for a few more days. Lin Yan picked up her phone and searched for gossip to divert her attention. In the end, her phone was flooded with news about Valentine's Day. A couple in the industry had announced that they were in a relationship. Her screen was filled with dog food. What was there to flaunt? It was too boring. It was all about Valentine's Day. She couldn't even enjoy the gossip. Ever since she had retired from the industry, there had been no gossip in the industry. She was so disappointed. Pei Yutong had gone somewhere and hadn't come today. Pei Nanshu had several jobs to attend as well, so the house was empty. Lin Yan was the only one in the house. Lin Yan rubbed her leg as she scrolled through her phone in boredom. It was too boring. She had to find something to do. Lin Yan opened the app and ordered some takeaway and beer. Then, she strolled to Pei Yutong's favorite game room. Lin Yan scanned the room and realized that it was indeed a high-end room. It had all the latest gaming equipment on the market, as well as a VR helmet. The lights on the wall were dazzling, and if she turned on the music, she would be able to dance in the room. Lin Yan's attention was completely captured by the gaming room. She really couldn't understand what people were thinking. What kind of relationship was this? Was the takeaway not good enough? Was the alcohol not good enough? Or was the game not fun enough? She could stay at home, eat delicious food, play games, and dance. Couldn't she be happier? Besides, there was such a huge house for her to play. It would be perfect if her leg didn't hurt. Other than that, Pei Yuqing's figure kept popping up in Lin Yan's mind. Usually, when Pei Yuqing wasn't home, she would be more relaxed. However, today, for some reason, she kept thinking of him. Perhaps it was because it was Valentine's Day. Although she and Pei Yuqing were acting, he was still her boyfriend in name. Warm thoughts, ****. This sentence is indeed very reasonable. While Lin Yan was happily partying, on the other side of the ocean, Pei Yuqing had just arrived. Due to the time difference, it was nighttime. By now, it was already the next day in China. Pei Yuqing was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing at the night sky outside. Suddenly, his phone rang. It was Pei Yutong. "Big brother, did you go on a business trip?" Pei Yutong asked excitedly. Pei Yuqing asked, "What is it?" Pei Yutong hurriedly replied, "Of course. Don't you know what day it is?" Today was Valentine's Day. But you actually went on a business trip and left sister-in-law alone at home. Sister-in-law must be very sad. Pei Yuqing remained silent. This is your first Valentine's Day together. Even if sister-in-law didn't say anything, she must be disappointed. Sister-in-law is so pitiful. She doesn't have many friends around her. On such a busy day, her boyfriend isn't around. How sad and fragile she must be. Meanwhile, Lin Yan, who was singing, drinking, and dancing, was speechless. It was too late after yesterday's work, so I'll update 2 chapters for everyone first. Today, 16th, I'll ask for a leave in advance. I'll be busy for the whole day, so I might not have time to write when I get back. If I haven't updated, everyone can come back tomorrow to read moi. Chapter 535. On the other end of the line, Pei Yutong was nagging non-stop. He was worried sick about his brother's relationship. "Are you very free?" Pei Yuqing asked softly. Pei Yutong shuddered when he heard his cold words. "Ahem. I'm just worried about you." Pei Yuqing hung up before Pei Yutong could reply. Pei Yutong, who was in the country, was panicking. Big Brother was still as heartless as ever. How could a relationship go smoothly if he was like this? If Big Brother's relationship didn't go well, how could he find a good backer like Big Sister-in-law? If he lost Big Sister-in-law, wouldn't his good days come to an end and he would return to hell? At that moment, someone knocked on Pei Yuqing's door. Cheng Imo entered cautiously. President Pei Yuqing read the documents as he said, "Speak." Cheng Imo coughed softly. President Pei, I came to confirm the schedule. Is everything going as usual? Pei Yuqing raised his head coldly. What else? No, nothing. Cheng Imo replied hastily. I just wanted to confirm it again in case there were any mistakes. He was worried that his boss would suddenly book a flight back to China on Valentine's Day. He would then drop his work to accompany his girlfriend. Now that he heard his boss's reply and saw how serious his boss was at work, Cheng Mo felt deeply guilty for his thoughts just now. It seemed like he had gauged the heart of a gentleman with his own mean measure. I'll go prepare now. Cheng Imo left the room immediately. After Cheng Imo left, Pei Yuqing began to focus on the documents and complicated forms that he would need tomorrow. However, 3 seconds later, the man, who was leaning against the chair, felt a familiar dizziness. A second later, he lost consciousness. When Pei Yuqing woke up again, the scene before him had changed completely. He instinctively moved his fingers and raised his hand. He then saw a pair of slender, fair hands that belonged to a girl. Pei Yuqing reacted quickly. This was Lin Yan's body. The man's eyes flickered with helplessness. It seemed like he couldn't fool himself even if he had fooled everyone else. Although he hadn't said anything about what Pei Yutong had said over the phone and he hadn't seemed to mind, he had still been worried. And yet the moment Pei Yuqing took control of Lin Yan's body, deafening music filled his ears. Dazzling lights flashed above his head, and a racing car appeared on the screen. It seemed to be a racing game that Pei Yutong had loved. There were several empty beer bottles, lobsters, scallops, duck necks, peanuts, and all sorts of snacks scattered around Lin Yan's hands. Sister-in-law must be so upset. Even if sister-in-law didn't say anything, she must be disappointed in her heart. Sister-in-law was so pitiful and had no friends. On such a busy day, her boyfriend wasn't around. How sad and fragile would she be? How sad. How fragile. Pei Yuqing recalled Pei Yutong's words and stared at the scene before him. Chapter 536. It was obvious that Lin Yan wasn't sad or weak at all. On the contrary, she seemed rather happy. Game over. Due to the sudden interruption of the game, the word failed appeared on the screen. Lin Yan had been engrossed in the racing game. She was about to pass the level when she suddenly blacked out and lost consciousness. After some time, when she woke up again, she realized that the game had ended. F***ck. There was only one round left. Initially, Lin Yan had thought that she had fainted by accident. However, when she woke up, she instinctively wanted to smash the controller. In the end, she realized that a strange and familiar situation had occurred. Her body was no longer under her control. No matter how hard she tried, it was useless. It was as though her body didn't belong to her. Her consciousness was the same as before. It felt as though she was locked in a small, dark room deep in her mind. She was a third party. No wonder she had lost consciousness. Her body. Another consciousness had taken over her body. However, the difference was that this time, she seemed to be conscious, but because her body had been invaded, she couldn't control her own body. Just as she thought of this, something horrifying happened. Her body suddenly let out a sound of speech. What a heartless woman, F***ck. Her body was talking. However, it wasn't her. This wasn't her tone at all. It's you again. It's you, pervert, isn't it? What the hell are you? Why haven't you left? Lin Yan's consciousness probably existed in the depths of her mind. However, she couldn't control her body. When her consciousness awakened, Pei Yuqing immediately sensed her presence. "You're awake?" Pei Yuqing asked in surprise. After all, his consciousness was too strong. When he had taken over Lin Yan, her consciousness had been suppressed and she had been in a coma for most of the time. However, that didn't mean that something unexpected had happened. "You haven't answered my question. How many times has it been? What do you want? Were you the one who secretly ate all my snacks last time? Were you the one who asked Pei Yuqing out on a date?" Lin Yan started to complain. Suddenly, a thought struck her, and she exclaimed, "Oh! I got it. I finally know. You asked Pei Yuqing out, so you're here because you want to go on a date with him, right?" He didn't answer her. Instead, he asked softly, "Are you happy that he's not around?" Lin Yan was startled for a moment before she realized that he was referring to Pei Yuqing. "What does it have to do with you? Can't I be happy?" asked Lin Yan. Pei Yuqing quipped, "Today is Valentine's Day, but he can't accompany you." Lin Yan grumbled in her head, "What's so good about Valentine's Day? Isn't the beer, the skewers, or the games?" Pei Yuqing raised his eyebrows slightly. After some time, he asked lazily, "Then, is he not good-looking enough? His figure isn't good enough, or isn't he attractive enough for you?" Lin Yan was speechless. He seemed to have seen through Lin Yan. "Don't lie. I will find out." Lin Yan was speechless. F***ck. She seemed to have forgotten that this fellow seemed to be able to directly absorb her consciousness and thoughts. Chapter 537. The other party could read her thoughts at will. It was as though he could read her mind. However, she didn't even know who he was. Wasn't this too unfair? She had no privacy at all. Or... Pei Yuqing paused for a moment before he added, "Let me rephrase my question. Is he not good-looking? Does he not have a good figure, or is he not rich enough?" Lin Yan was speechless. F***ck. That was a violation of the rules. What was wrong with this guy? Why did he know her so well? Lin Yan hurriedly cleared her mind of distracting thoughts and replied decisively, "Mr. Pei's looks, figure, and wealth have nothing to do with me. Do you think I'm the kind of person who looks at a person's face, figure, appearance, and wealth? I'm not that kind of shallow person." Pei Yuqing listened to the girl's righteous words. "Really?" Lin Yan replied, "Of course." Just as Lin Yan replied resolutely, her subconscious surfaced at the same time. "I'm too much of a person. Pei Yuqing is such a handsome, and rich boyfriend. Who can resist him?" Pei Yuqing replied, "Huh? Handsome, boyfriend?" Lin Yan was stunned when she heard her own voice chuckle. F***ck. You can really read my thoughts. It seems like you should thank me, Pei Yuqing quipped. Lin Yan immediately retorted, "Thank your head. Do you know how miserable I've been because of you? Do you know what kind of dire straits I'm living right now? I'm hovering on the edge of death every day." At the same time, Lin Yan's subconscious mind said, "Don't be too happy drinking and singing every day. Occasionally, I can see my idol. When my boyfriend isn't acting up, he has a good temper. This is a heavenly life. Speaking of which, I think I should thank that guy." Pei Yuqing nodded. "You're welcome." Lin Yan was speechless. She had been read again. Lin Yan was flustered and exasperated. "I didn't thank you. A boyfriend like Pei Yuqing fell from the sky out of nowhere. I was scared to death." Lin Yan's subconscious mind said, "How could such a good thing happen to me?" Pei Yuqing was speechless. Lin Yan was on the verge of breaking down. The subconscious would emerge unconsciously, so even Lin Yan would find it hard to control it. This was too sinful. Pei Yuqing leaned against the couch calmly as he listened to the girl in his head. After a moment of silence, he asked slowly, "Miss Lin, are you tempted?" The way he had said Miss Lin with his body was strangely familiar to Lin Yan. Lin Yan was startled for a moment before she snapped back to her senses. She couldn't let this fellow lead her by the nose anymore. Otherwise, there would be no privacy at all right? A second later, Lin Yan tried to clear her mind and stop her thoughts from running wild. An idea struck her as she swiftly memorized the book. In the 9th year of Yonghe, at the beginning of spring, we will meet at the Orchid Pavilion on the Kuaiji Mountain to cultivate. All the wise men and women have gathered, the young and old have gathered. Pei Yuqing asked, do you really not like it? Lin Yan replied, there are towering mountains and lofty ridges, lush forests, and tall bamboos. There are also clear streams that reflect on the left and right. The meandering stream is the second best. Although there aren't any musical instruments, a song is enough to express one's feelings. Pei Yuqing quipped, of course, liking someone who doesn't want to be responsible counts. Chapter 538. That's enough. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Lin Yan was so frightened that she had to recite the Heart Sutra. Pei Yuqing was about to continue when he frowned and glanced at Lin Yan's left leg. He had felt that something was wrong with his left leg. Perhaps the alcohol had numbed some of the pain. Now that he had sobered up, the pain surged again. The pain penetrated deep into his bones like a venomous snake. Even he couldn't stand it, let alone a girl like Lin Yan. Such intense pain couldn't have happened recently. It had been going on for a long time. Pei Yuqing's eyes swept across the beer cans on the floor and the game screen. His face darkened gradually. She had been drinking and playing games to numb the pain and distract herself. Pei Yuqing's tone changed instantly. Why aren't you going to the hospital? Given the intensity of the pain, anyone else would have fainted by now. How could she be drinking and playing games here instead of going to the hospital? Go to the hospital? Why would I go to the hospital? Lin Yan couldn't feel the pain in her body, so she didn't understand what Pei Yuqing meant. Pei Yuqing suppressed his anger and rose to his feet swiftly. He picked up his jacket and bag from the couch. Lin Yan panicked when she saw that he was about to leave. Hey! What are you doing? Where are you going? Pei Yuqing replied, I'm taking you to the hospital for treatment. What? What do you mean? Hospital treatment? Lin Yan suddenly recalled the injury on her leg and panicked. No. I'm not going. I'm not going to the hospital. I don't want an injection. Pei Yuqing's expression was cold. Why? Lin Yan replied fiercely, no reason. I just don't want an injection, can't I? At the same time, Lin Yan's subconscious was saying, no injection, no injection, no injection. Injections are so scary. I'm afraid of injections. Pei Yuqing halted in his tracks, looking startled. You are afraid of injections. Lin Yan was speechless. F***ck. So what if I'm afraid of injections? Can't I? Lin Yan, who had been exposed, exploded in anger. Pei Yuqing's voice softened as he said, I'm the one who needs the injection, not you. What are you afraid of? Lin Yan was dumbfounded. Ah. Seems like it. Her body was not under her control, and she could not feel anything. She could not even feel the pain in her left leg. In other words, the guy was the one who was hurting, the guy was the one who was taking the injections, the guy was the one who was taking the medicine, and it had nothing to do with her. Instinctively, Lin Yan muttered to herself, I didn't expect such a good thing to happen. Otherwise, let that fellow take this opportunity to get a few more injections. Help me take the best medicine. Pei Yuqing, who had read their thoughts, was speechless. He hailed a cab and rushed to the hospital. When they arrived, the doctor checked on Lin Yan and scolded her harshly. You don't want your legs anymore? What took you so long? Didn't your attending doctor tell you not to do any strenuous exercise during your recovery? You youngsters really don't take your own bodies seriously. It's my fault. Pei Yuqing didn't retort at all. He had been very good at admitting his mistake. Lin Yan had a strange feeling that he was sincerely apologizing. He wasn't apologizing as Lin Yan. Instead, he was apologizing in his own capacity. Chapter 539. Pei Yuqing followed the doctor's instructions and took the medicine. Then, he started the drip. Lin Yan discovered the benefits of being possessed. Although she was still a little afraid of the needle, she didn't feel anything when it hit her body. She didn't need to take the medicine or the drip, and she couldn't feel the pain in her leg at all. However, Lin Yan felt a little miserable when she looked at the drip. It was Valentine's Day, but her old injury had relapsed, and she had been possessed. Now, she had to spend the rest of the day in the hospital. For some reason, Pei Yuqing's figure appeared in her mind uncontrollably. A second later, she heard her own body's voice. You're thinking about him. Lin Yan jumped in fright. F***ck. You're doing it again. The late emperor's business collapsed halfway through. Today, the world is divided, and Yi province is exhausted. This is indeed a critical period. However, the imperial bodyguard does not give up on the inside. The loyal soldiers forget about the outside. Was there something wrong with him? Whatever she was thinking about would be known by this guy. What if she accidentally thought of something inappropriate for children? Wouldn't he be able to see through her too? Pei Yuqing replied, inappropriate? What do you mean? Lin Yan replied, I didn't mean anything. I was just thinking. Can you stop reading my mind? Pei Yuqing replied, sorry, I can't control this. Lin Yan replied, there are 9 months and 3 autumns. When the water runs out, the cold pond becomes clear. When the smoke condenses, the mountains become purple. Like a journey, visiting the scenery in Chang'e. Arriving at the prince's Changzhou, obtaining the Deva's old residence. These days. She really couldn't get through this. Lin Yan seized the opportunity while she was still conscious to get down to business. Hey, you haven't answered my question yet. What exactly are you? Are you my second personality? When he remained silent, Lin Yan probed further. Are you a ghost? Are you a vixen? In order to nourish your yin energy? Pei Yuqing listened with interest. Miss Lin, you have an imagination. Why don't you continue guessing? Continue guessing? I really can't guess. Lin Yan fumed. I don't care what you are, but I'm going to die because of you. You're the one who created this problem, so you have to solve it yourself. Please break up with Mr. Pei. These days, every time I wake up, I'm either on his sofa or on his bed. I'm almost scared to death, okay? Who knows what will happen the next time I wake up? Silence reigned for a moment before Pei Yuqing asked slowly, do you want to break up? Lin Yan replied, of course I want to break up. Isn't that obvious? Pei Yuqing replied, in that case, you can divide it yourself. Lin Yan asked, why? You were the one who provoked him. She had wanted to share it herself, but she had almost failed to come back alive. How could she dare to come back again? Pei Yuqing replied, it's me. But the one who wants to break up is you. Lin Yan replied, F***ck. He was actually unable to refute. But you're using my body now, so you should at least respect my opinion. What right do you have to use my body to do ridiculous things? What if I fall in love with someone in the future? Lin Yan huffed angrily. Pei Yuqing replied, someone you fall in love with. For some reason, Lin Yan felt that the sound coming from her body was rather horrifying. Chapter 540. Pei Yuqing replied, the person I like. Lin Yan replied, yeah. Is there a problem? After all, Pei Yuqing didn't belong to her. All she wanted was for everything to go back to normal. Last night, Pei Yuqing had suddenly wanted to go on a business trip. Before he left, she had suddenly returned and kissed Pei Yuqing, causing her to feel uneasy and restless. She had gone to play games and drink because her emotions were in a mess. At the thought of this, Lin Yan questioned him furiously. Last night, you kissed me shamelessly. Of course I wanted to get away from her. Otherwise, who knows what you'll do to me after taking over my body. Pei Yuqing's eyes flickered with surprise, and his expression was indescribable. After some time, he asked, Do you think that I was the person last night? Lin Yan replied resolutely, Of course it was you. If it wasn't you, could it have been me? How could I have done such a thing? Lin Yan felt a little flustered when she heard her body chuckle. Why are you laughing? What the hell? Why did she feel that this fellow's tone sounded a little like Pei Yuqing's? Miss Lin, I wasn't the person last night. How dare you deny it? Stop lying. It was definitely you. Do you think I have a reason to lie to you? Pei Yuqing retorted calmly. For some reason, Lin Yan felt that this fellow wasn't lying. This fellow had done so many shameless things. Why wouldn't he admit it? What was going on? Last night, she had really been in a daze. Her mind had even gone blank for a long time. She had thought that she had been possessed. Could she have been the one who had done that last night? Impossible. That was impossible. Lin Yan forced herself to remain calm. Even if it was me, it was your fault. Haven't you heard of the term embezzlement? With such a man by your side, who would be able to withstand it? I've persisted until now and have only done such a small thing. It's already very rare for someone like me to stay calm. Pei Yuqing raised his eyebrows. Actually, you don't have to stay calm. Lin Yan snapped, Shut up. It's fine if you have ulterior motives. Don't lead me astray. What did Mr. Pei do wrong to deserve to be deceived and tarnished by you? Please be a man. Lin Yan's consciousness was howling when she suddenly felt weak and dizzy. When she was possessed, she couldn't stay awake for too long. Before Lin Yan could react, she was plunged into darkness. He knew that Lin Yan had fallen into a coma when his mind suddenly fell silent. Let's sleep. Pei Yuqing closed his eyes slowly. When Lin Yan woke up again, she was in a taxi. Lin Yan tried to move her body but realized that she couldn't control it. That fellow was still there. Lin Yan had just woken up and was still weak. She struggled to speak. Hey, where are you taking me? Let's go home. Lin Yan rejected him immediately. No. I'm not going back. It's such a big festival, and it's still so early. It's so boring to go home. She was the only one at home, and she didn't want to go back. Where do you want to go? Lin Yan replied, I want to go to the disco. Take me to the disco. Pei Yuqing was speechless. Chapter 541. Pei Yuqing quipped, You won't be able to have fun even if you go. Lin Yan replied, It's fine. You can also help me jump. Pei Yuqing, who was speechless, replied helplessly, Your leg is injured. Lin Yan replied, Yeah, but it's fine. Even if I can't move, I can still enjoy the atmosphere at the bar. The taxi had already stopped outside the mansion. Lin Yan urged him, Anyway, I want to go out and have fun. Take me out. Pei Yuqing was speechless. You need to rest. I don't want to rest. I want to go out and have fun. Hurry up and take me out. Are you going to leave me alone at home during this festive occasion? That's too cruel. Don't think that you can ignore my wishes just because you control my body. If you don't take me out, I will keep arguing. Flower in my heart, I want to take you home, to that bar in the middle of the night, no matter if it's real or not. Please sway to your heart's content, forget about him, you are the most charming, you know. Come, draw a dragon with me on the left, and a rainbow on the right, Lin Yan muttered under her breath and even began to sing. Pei Yuqing was speechless. Lin Yan had always been obedient in front of him. This was the first time he had seen this side of her. Pei Yucheng was having a headache when Pei Yutong walked out of the house. F***CK. Big sister-in-law. Sister-in-law, where did you go? I've been looking for you for a long time, but you didn't pick up my calls. I was so worried. Pei Yutong felt relieved when he saw Lin Yan. Why are you here? Pei Yucheng glanced at Pei Yucheng. Isn't it Valentine's Day today? Big brother is away on a business trip, so he's not home. I was afraid that you would be sad and let your imagination run wild at home. That's why I came to accompany you. Pei Yutong carefully observed Lin Yan's expression as he spoke. Big sister-in-law, big brother can be a little unreasonable at times, but don't be sad. He's just too busy with work. Pei Yucheng glanced at Pei Yutong coldly. He was about to be brainwashed by Lin Yan's repetitive song. In the end, he strode away. Huh? Big sister-in-law. Sister-in-law? Pei Yutong hurriedly chased after her. Big sister-in-law, you just came back. Where are you going? Lin Yan replied expressionlessly, disco dancing. Pei Yutong was speechless. Disco dancing. It's Valentine's Day, and sister-in-law is going to a bar to dance alone. Isn't she jumping into a wolf's den? Pei Yutong was scared out of his wits as he hurriedly followed her. Big sister-in-law, calm down. Sister-in-law. Dad. Daddy. Wait a minute. It's so late at night, and it's even Valentine's Day. You're so pretty, it's too dangerous for you to go dancing alone. In the end, Pei Yutong had no choice but to send Lin Yan to the bar with his bodyguard. Pei Yutong refused to give up when he reached the door. Daddy, are you really going? What if my big brother finds out? Lin Yan muttered under her breath, your big brother didn't forbid me from dancing. Pei Yutong panicked when Lin Yan remained silent. Daddy, why don't I find some other entertainment? Why don't we drive? Why don't we drive? Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat when she heard him. However, she dismissed the idea in the end. Forget it. I'd better take care of my legs. I won't dance anymore. As Lin Yan was about to enter the bar, Pei Yutong yelled, this is a high-end nightclub. It's expensive. Lin Yan glanced at the signboard outside the bar. It's expensive, but it's free for women today. Why wouldn't I take advantage of this? Pei Yucheng was speechless. Chapter 542. Lin Yan was considered a public figure now. However, this bar was very famous in the industry, so it was very private. She didn't have to worry about being photographed. Besides, everyone was having a good time, so no one would notice her. From Pei Yutong's point of view, Lin Yan seemed especially aloof today. She didn't even respond to him. Indeed, big sister-in-law was heartbroken because his brother had left her alone. That was why she had come to this bar to get drunk. The deafening noise, the bustling crowd, and the dazzling lights dispelled all the thoughts in Lin Yan's head. Lin Yan was elated. Hurry up. Order a Bloody Mary for me. Or even a Manhattan. Pei Yucheng ignored Lin Yan's request and turned to the bartender. A glass of orange juice. The bartender looked awkward. Sorry, miss, we don't serve orange juice. Pei Yucheng reached out and pulled out his wallet from Pei Yutong's pocket. He took out some cash and handed it to the bartender. The bartender said, wait a minute. I can get someone to buy it for you. Pei Yutong, who had allowed his wallet to be taken away, was speechless. My money. Lin Yan, whose cocktail had turned into orange juice, was speechless. Was there something wrong with him? Why was he asking her to drink orange juice? I've said that your body doesn't belong to you alone, Pei Yucheng replied calmly. Lin Yan was infuriated. How can you be so righteous when you've taken over my body? Pei Yucheng quipped, stop fooling around. Pei Yutong was lamenting the fact that he didn't have much money left when he heard Lin Yan say something strange. He was dumbfounded. "Big sister-in-law, what did you just say?" Pei Yucheng replied, "I wasn't talking to you." Pei Yutong was speechless, but there was no one else around. It was really strange. There was only sister-in-law here, and big brother was not here. Why did he still feel like he was the third wheel? The bartender served Lin Yan a glass of orange juice. There was a glass of orange juice in front of her in the crowded bar. She didn't drink or dance, as though she was aloof from the world. She simply looked out of place. Pei Yutong couldn't figure it out. "Big sister-in-law. You. Why did you come to the bar?" Originally, he was worried that his sister-in-law would get high from playing, but he never expected such a strange situation to occur. At the same time, Lin Yan chimed in, "Yeah. Why did you come to this bar?" "I can't dance, I can't drink, I can't move, I can't even look at the handsome guy." Pei Yucheng narrowed his eyes. "You want to see?" Lin Yan asked, "Why can't I watch it?" Pei Yucheng didn't respond. He took out Lin Yan's phone and searched for his number. Lin Yan jumped in fright when she saw Pei Yucheng's number. You. What are you doing?" Pei Yucheng replied, "Tell your boyfriend what you're doing." Lin Yan replied, F***CK. "You're too much. How dare you threaten me?" Although she had sounded so righteous, if Pei Yucheng were to find out that she had gone to dance alone in the middle of the night and wanted to see a handsome guy, she would be dead. Pei Yucheng raised his eyebrows. "Are you that afraid of him?" Lin Yan was about to continue complaining when a young man in a black suit approached her. The man was holding a glass of tequila as he smiled at her. "Miss, are you alone?" Chapter 543. Pei Yucheng, who had been hit on, was speechless. Lin Yan replied solemnly in her mind, "Do you think I'm one person or two people? Plus you, I should be considered two people, right? However, are you even human?" Pei Yucheng felt helpless when he heard Lin Yan's nonchalant question. Was it a good thing that he had been hit on without realizing it? Before Pei Yucheng could react, Pei Yutong exploded in anger. "Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm here? If you know what's good for you, scram." The man raised an eyebrow and scanned Pei Yutong from head to toe. "Forgive me for being blunt, but I don't think this lady is your girlfriend, right?" Most people who came to this kind of place were smart, so they could tell that Lin Yan and Pei Yutong weren't a couple. Pei Yutong replied, "So what? She isn't my girlfriend, but she is my father. So I don't think you have the right to make me leave." The man replied disdainfully as he glanced at Lin Yan. "Miss, sorry to disturb you. Let me introduce myself. My name is Zhao Yankai." Pei Yutong found the name familiar, but he couldn't recall who it was. He muttered suspiciously, "Zhao Yankai? I don't care who you are. Let me tell you, this girl is my sister-in-law. Do you know who my big brother is? If he finds out that you dared to provoke my sister-in-law, he can crush 10 of your fathers with his pinky finger." Pei Yutong threatened him fiercely. Zhao Yankai sneered at Pei Yutong. He had treated Pei Yutong like a young lad. In this imperial capital, although my Zhao family can't be considered to be at the top, Zhao Yankai, am a character that no one dares to provoke. You actually casually said that your big brother can pinch 10 of me to death with a pinky. Zhao Yankai sneered, "Since your big brother is so powerful, why don't you call him out? I want to see how he pinches me to death." "You." Pei Yutong was infuriated by the man's arrogance. He almost wanted to blow up his cover. Zhao Yankai paused for a moment before he asked, "Kid, do you know who the president of the Pei Corporation is to me?" Pei Yutong was taken aback when he heard Big Brother's name. "My big." Ahem. Pei Yucheng, who is he to you? Zhao Yankai, he's my grandfather. Pei Yutong nearly choked on his own saliva. What did you say? Even Lin Yan was startled. What the F asterisk CK? What was this person saying? When did Pei Yuqing have such a big grandson? Pei Yuqing pondered this for a moment. I don't think he knows the answer either. He really didn't remember such a person. Pei Yutong burst into laughter. Pei Yuqing is your grandfather? Then I can say that he is my big brother. You must be dreaming. Zhao Yankai snorted coldly as though he was looking at a country bumpkin. Lad, who doesn't know that Pei Yuqing is my cousin? If you don't believe me, you can go out and ask around. Pei Yutong finally recalled why Zhao Yankai's name had sounded so familiar. Zhao Yankai. Could he be the young master of the Weiyuan Corporation? If that was the case, it seemed like that was the case. Mobile users, please browse and read. For a better reading experience, please visit the website. Chapter 544. The Zhao family and the Pei family were indeed related. Although they were distant relatives, the Zhao family was used to doing things. In order to maintain this relationship, they always let Zhao Yankai call his elder brother grandpa. They were not afraid of being shameless. His big brother had probably forgotten about Zhao Yankai a long time ago. Pei Yutong, who had just recalled this relationship, cursed in disgust. This lad. How could he be so smug? Do you know who you're flirting with now? That's your grandmother. Lin Yan, who was shocked, exclaimed, Pei Yuqing is his grandfather. According to the family hierarchy, am I not his grandmother? Pei Yuqing agreed with Lin Yan. Yeah, you can say that. Zhao Yankai thought that Pei Yutong had been frightened by him, so he ignored him and walked over to Lin Yan. Miss, I've been paying attention to you ever since. You're really special. You have a charming aura. That's why I couldn't help but want to get to know you and be friends. I hope I didn't disturb you. Zhao Yankai looked like an elegant young master as he tried to strike up a conversation. Lin Yan studied the young man before her. He was dressed fashionably and was wearing luxurious clothes. The watch on his wrist was probably worth the price of a house. He looked a little pompous, but he seemed polite. Lin Yan was about to reply when she realized that her body didn't belong to her. Thus, in the next second, he heard his own body say a word lazily and casually, "Get lost." Lin Yan replied, "Huh? Why are you scolding me? This young man seems like a nice guy." Pei Yuqing replied, "Nice? I didn't know that you had such low standards." Lin Yan replied, "Why did you have to attack me for no reason? He even complimented me." "Oh, wait, he should be complimenting you. He said that you're very charming." Is this young man interested in you? Is he flirting with you? F***CK. Why are you causing trouble for me again? Are you trying to seduce another man? Pei Yuqing was speechless. Zhao Yankai looked startled. He hadn't expected that Lin Yan would treat him this way even though she knew who he was. What shocked him even more was the look in Lin Yan's eyes. He was so frightened that his legs almost turned to jelly. He even felt his hair stand on end. However, Zhao Yankai was only stunned for a short while. He wasn't angry. After he came back to his senses, his eyes were filled with even more interest. I didn't misjudge you. You're indeed very special, woman. You have successfully caught my attention. If I'm not mistaken, you should be the popular artist. Lin Yan, right? Miss Lin Yan, we will meet again. I believe that you won't reject me next time. Zhao Yankai looked as though he was determined to get her. Then, he halted and turned around. Oh yeah, Miss Lin Yan. Your expenses today are on me. After showing off, Zhao Yankai elegantly turned around and left. Not long after, the DJ's voice came from the bar. Today, young Master Zhao is paying the bill. Women screamed excitedly, but Lin Yan was filled with disdain. Is there something wrong with this man? I only ordered a glass of orange juice, and Pei Yutong paid for it. You're tuning into the Biyao's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.